The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown.
Good morning. What's up, dogs? How's everybody doing this morning? Probably not that great. If you're a Kings fan, why did I do that? Got him. Got all of you. Kings fans. That's me too. I think we did this a few weeks ago. Sadly, Chris, we might have to do it again today. How long did you stick with that game? I passed out, for those that are wondering.
Weren't you at the game?
Yeah, passed out. It's like, you know what? That'd be kind of cool if you, well, I don't know if passed out's the right thing, but like if you could just, somewhere between like not even sleep, but like just be in a state where you just, without doing anything to harm yourself or anyone else. Like, yeah, I'm just checking out for a little bit.
I basically did that.
Yeah.
I mean, technically the game was on the entire time.
Yeah.
But, look at my phone, texting people.
Yeah. I have to keep stats and hopefully engaged in following the game and make notes to see what I want to say in the post game and for future shows. And my running tally just went away because it was just looking up, okay, worst loss this season, season lows. Worst loss in franchise history, worst loss ever at Golden One Center. I was just trying to find all these notes that, if need be, I will have them all ready. And yeah, that was the day that went. And believe me, we'll get into that for sure. We've got to wrap up week 18. We've got the playoffs coming up. We've got a busy Monday show. Jason Ross here, Christopher Laud here as well. Carmichael Dave off this week. He is eating some English food somewhere.
Ugh, gross.
He had some good posts from his match, and he kept talking about, did he send you anything specific? Because I didn't get anything from Dave, which was fine, but I felt like you and he would have more of a connection from the match. Was it yesterday or Saturday? It was yesterday.
He FaceTimed me after the match.
Okay.
Showing himself around the stadium.
And I saw his tweets and some of his posts and his comments and some of the things that went on, and I know it seemed like he had a good time, but the team he was there for, which was a severe underdog.
Severe underdog.
You asked me if I heard the score, which is great. I do not know. I'm assuming based on there was no celebratory or greatest thing I've ever seen kind of tweets from Dave that it did not go well for Huddersfield, but that could be 1-0. That could be 3-2. I honestly do not know. And you asked me if I knew the score. Would you care to share said score?
It wasn't the worst City has ever beat Huddersfield.
Okay.
But it was 5-0.
Oh.
And it probably should have been 7-8-0.
You know your team. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being Man City played their best players and played their best. What did they do on yesterday?
Well, they didn't play their best players. They played a lot of the younger players.
Still good squad.
Yeah, and Huddersfield basically just put 10 guys in the box. So they were just trying not to give up goals.
Trying to keep it low. So they were trying. Okay. So wow. Protect the goal.
And I think
scoring.
It was 25, 30 minutes until they got their first goal.
Okay. So goals. I mean, the game plan was successful for a while.
For a little bit.
Yeah. What was the score at half?
2-0.
Okay. But 2-0 with no chance to win.
Yes. And it was like getting bad. Like Huddersfield had some like bad tackles into City players, and one of their players went off hurt. So
did Huddersfield Town have any realistic shots, good shots at goal?
Yeah. They had a
Okay.
couple.
So best case scenario, how many goals do you think they could have scored?
2.
Okay.
Like if they did everything perfectly on the couple of shots they had.
But it also could have been 9-0.
Yes.
Okay. What was the FaceTime?
The worst loss that they ever had was 10-1 in
man.
'87.
Wow. So did you tell Dave that? Hey, it could have been worse.
Huh?
Did you tell
didn't.
Dave that? No, you didn't. But did he have a good time?
Apparently.
Apparently. All right. I didn't know what the FaceTime conversation was like.
He's like, oh, do you know who these guys are in these statues? Yes.
What should I know about him? That kind of thing?
No, he had some like tour guide or something with him.
Gotcha. Do they have a second match this week that you know of?
Huddersfield?
Yeah.
Probably. No, actually, I think everyone's on.
On break?
Yeah.
Okay. But I know that. I mean, that,
Perfect time to go for there.
yes, for one. But he, this is the first time. Is this his third time he's gone or second?
I think it's his third.
Yeah, and I think this is the first time you've seen a match, which is cool. At least you got to see that. Yeah. So Dave is off all week. He will be back next Tuesday. Remember, we're off next Monday. There's a holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday. So we will be off next Monday. But we've got a full week today, or this week, excuse me. Today, like we said, there are plenty of things to discuss with your Sacramento Kings. The uneven weekend, good win Friday against Toronto. And I don't know, pick your descriptor for yesterday. Just hideous. I don't know. You can laugh only to not cry. Maybe you cried. Maybe you were just frustrated. Maybe you just turned it off. Maybe you left the game early. I am the proponent of you bought a ticket, stay to the finish. Watch the whole game. Yesterday was fine. If you want to leave, you want to leave. Get up and go. Like, hey, don't give up. There's always a chance. Nah, it was over. It was over. It was a wrap.
The only time I've left early for a game was the Celtics game.
But also, didn't you have to? Well, not have to, but you had work the next morning, right?
Yeah. And it's so, like, if you're leaving when everybody else leaves, it's like an extra 30, 45 minutes to get out of the garage.
Yeah. But in that case, did you feel like you were in the first 10% of people leaving?
No.
You're already late, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the tricky one. Like that, I bet there were some people at Golden One yesterday. I mean, some are going to stay for every second, and that's fine. But some might have also got in that spot, like, man, everybody's already kind of leaving. And what was funny is when the Kings made, I think it was their last basket or second. Yeah, I think that was the last one that got them to 100. There was actually like a really legitimate, again, I'm keeping my head down. I'm writing all these notes, and then I'm like, wait, what? Oh, they got 100. Like, really? That's what we're doing? Like, people were genuinely excited that they scored 100.
Here's the thing I'm thinking of, like, say, if I were going to that game, I'd probably be like, oh, it's a 12 o'clock. It's a 3 o'clock start. How about we go someplace afterwards and hang out or whatever?
So then it's like start that earlier.
Down by like 50.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the plan was for 6. So.
Yeah. Well, I always say that, like, look, 20-point deficits in the NBA happen all the time. You can erase those. Kings have done that this year. They got to 30.
Dave Deuce Mason, his famous thing is you have to subtract 5 points from the actual score.
What do you mean?
So, like, if they're down 20, they're actually down 15.
What does that mean?
That means, like, you can come back easier and
so
quicker.
When they were down 50, they're only down 45?
Exactly.
Oh, had I known that, darn it. Well, now, thank you for sharing that. Can we subtract 25 from the deficit sometimes? But yeah, 20, very doable. 25, you're like, man, it's getting out of hand. 30 and above, it's just the comebacks are few and far between. The Kings had, at one point, it was the second largest comeback in league history when they came back from 35 on the Bulls. I don't know if that since has been surpassed just because of the way the league is going nowadays with people scoring threes, people moving in bunches, but just a hideous performance yesterday. We will discuss that. Frankie Cardicelli will join us at 8 o'clock today, one of our 2 Sactown Sports Kings insiders. Also off the heels of Friday when the rumors were just swirling. It's like, oh gosh, relax, people. And we'll kind of crack the code of what was released, what was said, what was done on Friday, which no trades happened. But because Toronto was here and Pascal Siakam are the Kings efforting to make a trade, and then the Kings are no longer interested in dealing. The talks are off. We'll try to crack the code of what all that means. Also at 9 o'clock, oh, man, the 49ers lost. It doesn't really matter. They lost to the Rams yesterday. We know their fate. We know they're the 1 seed. Matt Barrows from The Athletic will join us for Niners at 9. We've got plenty of other things in between now and then, some of our staples, and we'll recap a lot of the stuff that's happened. Today is generally a tough day around the NFL. There's already been a couple of firings. We will tell you about that. One last night, one this morning.
Also strange hiring.
Which was? Did I miss that? What's the hiring?
Bob Myers is part of the. Is working with the Commanders to get a new head coach.
I'm like, wait, what? That Bob Myers?
That Bob Myers.
Yeah, it's that Bob Myers. Because it's a very common name, but it's that Bob Myers. Last night, I don't know if you. I generally, Chris, I don't think you spend much time on the award shows at all. Did you see what was last night? The
Golden Globes.
Any time on that? I mean, I saw some clips from social media, but
yeah, that's all I saw. I saw like the Succession Culkin. I saw the Succession Awards, basically.
Is that what? Yeah, usually there's something that takes. Did they go off? Did they have a huge?
I just saw that they won 2 of them.
Oh, I see. Is that a show you've seen?
The Golden Globes?
No, Succession.
Oh yeah,
Big fan of that.
Loved it. I left a Lizzo concert early so I can see the finale of Succession.
Okay, worth it on each. I think Lizzo would put a good show.
That's fine.
Oh, it was okay. What was better, the end of leaving the Lizzo concert, or the Succession finale? It wasn't the Succession finale.
Yeah, it was the finale.
Oh, well, you had to think about that one.
Well, I was also thinking, my favorite thing that night was leaving without telling anybody, and then getting the text, "Hey, where are you?"
Yeah,
I'm gone.
You said you did see Oppenheimer and loved it.
I thought Oppenheimer was good.
Okay, you liked it. I guess it got what best motion picture. This is for the Golden Globes, though. So
so it must have been Oppenheimer and Barbie both won.
Let's see if Barbie. Well, best motion picture drama, best motion picture musical or comedy, which that's probably what Barbie would be in, right?
Yeah.
Poor Things. I think that's a new one that just came out. Which every time I see that preview, I'm like, I don't know what this is about. I'm not.
That's what you are with most previews, though.
Yes, but I feel like we've talked about some of our quote unquote superpowers. When previews come on, I feel like unless they're trying to purposely trick you, and what I mean by that is someone like they might be on the Saturday night, like some super scary thing, and then it's a spoof of something funny. But generally within the first 3 seconds, Chris, of a preview, I go, nope. Or I can tell you if I want to see the movie. Generally. And I would say my success rate is pretty high on that. So
for you,
for me, I'm not saying, the movies might be great. But if I saw the preview for Poor Things, I go, nope.
Like Lamb, great movie.
Nope.
Wasn't for you.
Nope. As soon as I saw that preview, I think you showed me the preview. I'm like, no, not interested. I go, what is this? This looks weird. How about TV shows? I'm seeing a bunch of movie stuff here. You know what movie I did see randomly over the weekend? We were just looking for different things to watch. Maybe it was Saturday night. The Holdovers. That one was just out recently with
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah. It's fine. It was okay. Yeah.
It was okay.
That's how I felt. My wife enjoyed it more than I did. Thought it was fine. Decent story, but just need a little kick in the pants.
I did see some movie this weekend, but I'm trying to. It's hazy.
Everything's a little bit hazy. Let's see.
I think I just watched John Wick again.
Which one?
The first one.
See, that's one I've seen all four. I couldn't even tell you. Well, I remember the first one probably the best. Wait, did I see 4? I know I saw the first 3. Which is the one where it's like the most intense fight scene in like the glass mirrored?
3.
Okay. Like that. I remember that. I don't know what was happening in 2. People falling off buildings in one of them.
2 was Italy.
Okay. Where's the place where their like headquarters is, I guess?
The Continental.
Yeah. Where's that?
It's all over the world.
Okay. But like the one that's on the street corner.
Oh, that's in New York.
Okay. Didn't they fall off? Somebody fell off that building?
Yes, that's in 3. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler. I guess I remember 3 and 1. I don't know. Which was Boban in?
3.
Then maybe I didn't see 4.
2.
I saw 2. No, I saw 1, 2, and I know I saw all 3. And I think I was late to the party, but saw 3 in theaters. I don't think, maybe I didn't see. When did 4 come out?
Last year?
Yeah, then I don't think I saw 4. All right. Is 4 good?
They're all good.
Okay.
And you want to talk about an intense fight scene?
Yeah. 4?
4. Oh my God.
How's the guy still alive?
He's John Wick.
Oh, okay.
He's the Baba Yaga.
Yeah. He was in Parenthood.
That looked good too. I used that in Movie Grid today.
Did you?
Yes.
Parenthood?
Yes.
What was it? Keanu and who? Or was it other people?
It was Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
There's one named movies with Joaquin Phoenix.
Perfect pull. Just trying to dazzle Dave here, I guess. All right. Break time for us. We've put it off long enough. Leading off, we will address the Sacramento Kings losing again to their kryptonite, the New Orleans Pelicans, and this time it was awful. We've got that next.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton & Price in your corner. When you call Ashton & Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real-life person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
There are many things to love about winter. Cozy sweaters, celebrations, and family time. But winter can also bring many stressors. Extra expenses, seasonal bugs, and so much family time. If you and your loved ones are feeling stressed or anxious this winter, CalHope can help. Check out our free mental health resource at calhope.org today.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
New Orleans had won 4 straight before their loss Friday night to the Clippers. And they've come back just smoking hot. Another quarter 3 is knocked down. This time it's Najee Marshall. And you hear the Bluebirds in Sacramento. 1:32 to go in this quarter. The Kings are now trailing by 40. That's 40 points. 99-59.
Boo! Yeah. Kings lose again to New Orleans. We're going to have some numbers throughout this. We'll talk to Frankie as well coming up at 8 o'clock about this. There's a couple of things that we will have to discuss about the trouble spots for Sacramento. There's not one exact remedy for this team, but as we always say, whenever you play a season, whenever you play a stretch of games, all of it for the coach, for the players, for the decision makers in the front office is always fact-finding. You find out stuff about your team, what you're good at, what you're bad at, and areas that need to be addressed or should be addressed. We talked a lot about this on Friday. I think the Kings are in a really unique position in the fact that they probably want to do something to shake up the roster, probably should do something to shake up the roster. I really am having a tough time figuring out the exact route to go because there's a lot of different routes to go. And when I'm trying to discuss this as optimistic as I can be about the Kings in a way that, hey, look, trade these 4 things and get a great player on another team, it generally doesn't work that way. Do they have to get another great player? Possibly. Can they work around the edges and make the team better? Possibly, and not really mortgage what they've got. Do they forget about mortgaging what they got and go, no, this what they've got isn't good enough? I mean, there's a lot of different roads. It's not to me as clear as trade player X, get player Y, boom, solution. Each team is made up a little bit differently. We see the flaws, we see the holes, and I feel like if you have an opposing center that is physical with Sabonis combined with long wings, that is the kryptonite. Long athletic wings that can bother Fox, bother some of the other, and really with the defensive presence. because there's been some teams like Toronto was just here. I go, man, that team is long and athletic. I didn't think Jakob Poeltl was that physical with Sabonis. The wings didn't seem to bother the Kings as much as like, hey, long athletic wings bother the Kings. Sacramento did what they did offensively. If they shoot 50% or better, have 30 more assists, they're going to win. Last night, they weren't even close to any of those statistics. And New Orleans has been the most consistent team at doing this to Sacramento. So people logically go, oh, they need a 3-and-D guy. They need more great perimeter defensive wings. I don't disagree with that. But that wouldn't have solved last night not being able to score against a team that just choked them out. Like if you got Matisse Thybulle, a great perimeter defender on this team, he would help in general. I don't think he does a darn thing about yesterday. I don't think he does. But that doesn't mean that's you stop from doing that. So that we'll get into this in a little more detail, but I think those are some of the things watching this team now for a few more games, learning more about them, the fact-finding mission that we do on a nightly basis. The front office has seen it, and it's opened the door to those options for this team. More on that coming up. Let's get to cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
Shotgun snap Wentz. QB draw again. Runs between the hash marks. Inside the 5. Into the end zone. Carson Wentz spikes it. Sean McVay's got 2 fingers in the air. He wants the Rams to go for their first lead of Week 18. From the 2, snap, play fake, roll right. Wentz stops. Wentz throws back in the end zone. It's caught. It's a 2-point conversion for Turbo Tutu. 21-20 Wentz to Atwell.
Yeah, the Rams found a way to spoil the season finale for the 49ers. Here's hoping that's the final loss, right? Not a damaging loss. They're able to rest McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, Kittle. Still tried to win, and still their opportunities. I appreciate the Rams went for 2. That was kind of cool. Like, no need to go overtime. No need to force. No need to have ties in this thing in regulation. Now, there was still some time left, but the Rams got the job done. They were already in the postseason. They rested Matthew Stafford. We'll tell you about the playoff matchups and who's going where. But the Niners will have the week off. They'll get to watch. They'll know they've got a potential of 4 different teams they can face. They can face the 4 seed, 5, 6, or 7. All we know is week 2 of the playoffs when it'll be week 1 for the Niners. They can't play team 2 or team 3, which is Dallas or Detroit, at least in that first round for them. So they'll do a lot of watching this week with games Saturday, Sunday, and the wraparound on Monday in Super Wildcard Weekend. Not really that upset that the 49ers lost the game. They won the games they needed to. They're watching some carnage around the NFC, like the Philadelphia Eagles imploding at the moment. And again, every year there's teams going into the playoffs hot. Every year there's teams struggling going in. And then it's a new season. That'll prove itself this weekend. And some things will fall in line. Some of those hot teams will keep rolling. Some will have it end. And some of those teams that we're all questioning, hey, they put it together for a weekend. All those things are all in play as the playoffs are here starting this weekend. All right, cut number 3.
Cut number 3.
Ewers takes a shotgun snap. He's back to pass. Pressure coming. Throws the fade. Yes! We're going to Houston, knocked it away. Elijah Jackson knocks the ball away. The Huskies are headed to Houston. Tony, Husky Nation. Elijah Jackson knocks it away, and Washington is headed to Houston to play the Michigan Wolverines for their first national championship since 1991.
Favored by 4.5 are the Wolverines, the final game of the college football season. National championship tonight. I do have to thank the NBA. I feel like, Chris, I would, of all the things that happen in an NBA schedule, it feels like the Kings have had a home game on National Championship Monday like every 10 years in a row. Yeah. Tonight they're off. They're heading on the road. They probably need all of that, but good. We get to watch the championship game uninterrupted. I've seen some of those finishes and some of these great finishes of the last couple of years, and hearing people scream in different or make noise in different of the suites at Golden One, or having a TV off to the side kind of looking, or people on their phones like, oh man, that looks like it was a heck of a game I would have liked to have seen. But tonight, the NBA, at least for the Kings, they're off, but the national championship has Michigan versus Washington. Those are some of the topics that will be discussed today. When we come back, The NFL playoff picture is set. Remember last Friday I was here. I had my phone up, took a picture of the screen, said this is if the playoffs started today. Well, what changed from then to today? Who's in, who's out? We discuss that when we come back here on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing to keep the Grinch away from the toy drive.
Who's going to deliver the toys to the kids?
What about me, the Grinch?
No. Yep, even easier than that.
You steal the presents one time.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Capital One NA member FDIC. Copyright Dr. Seuss Enterprises. Copyright Turner Entertainment Company.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast. With a buck here, buck there. Here, buck there, buck everywhere, buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
The new year is upon us with promises of new beginnings and new adventures, but don't let 2023 slip away without savoring the memories of all you enjoyed with family and friends. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Of course, looking forward with anticipation is exciting, but I have a lot to appreciate in this past year, and much of that revolves around time with family and more good time spent around my Naturewood dining table. Watching my grandson get messy with his birthday cake is priceless, and it reminds me that new life is the perfect balance between yesterday and today. Greet the new year with a visit to Naturewood Home Furnishings. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's New Year sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Over the years, some of golf's best stories were about the legendary Ben Hogan. Tommy Bolt once said that Hogan was the only player he'd ever known to get an ovation on the practice tee. He said he saw Hogan playing practice rounds before a tournament where half the gallery was made up of other professionals. When Bolt was asked who was better, Jack Nicklaus or Ben Hogan, Bolt replied, "Well, I saw Nicklaus watch Hogan practice, but I never saw Hogan watch Nicklaus." That's a pretty definite answer. Hogan described the game of golf as a game of misses. He said, "The player who misses best is the one who's going to win." He believed that the first hole was the most important, saying, "Well, if you don't birdie the first hole, how can you expect to birdie them all?" Ben Hogan knew the value of positive thinking on the golf course. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper, also known as Drapes, here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. That's where I got my gorgeous black-on-black EQS SUV. I'll be honest, it's the most stunning car I've ever owned, and let me tell you why I love it. First of all, the minute you step inside, you feel like you're driving a luxury vehicle. Plus, I love the onboard navigation system, and I tell you what, my kids just love the front seat and rear seat heating option. You know how it is up here in Northern California. You got to have that during the winter. And of course, during the summer, you got to have seat cooling. Well, my Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV has that as well. Go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They believe, guys, that when you buy the world's finest car, it should be an experience you'll never forget. It's the greatest car shopping experience I've ever had. They were tremendous. The ease of buying, they just made it super simple. It's just 30 minutes from Sacramento, right off of I-5. And of course, you can always go online at mbofstockton.com.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason.
Coming up at around 7:45 or so, our Jiffy Lube drive of the game. And yes, there was a Jiffy Lube drive of the game yesterday. G-Man's got a knack for this. I think he knew this game might go south fast. That was called very early in the game. Hopefully you were listening early, and all you have to do is identify that Jiffy Lube drive of the game a little bit later in the show, like I said, a little over an hour from now, and you could win a $100 gift certificate courtesy of our friends from Jiffy Lube. All right, so the NFL, this is probably part of the time of the year where you NFL fans, certainly if your team is not in, you get sad. Fantasy football players, maybe you're, I would say probably most of you didn't have meaningful games this last weekend. Most, if it's head-to-head, have a championship that ends in week 17. But if you had matchups that still mattered this weekend, like I do as far as overall points, it's such an agonizing final week. We went through it on Friday about the different people that were in, people that were sitting out, people that were resting, and you're trying to win with just, a compromised lineup. That could be agonizing, but also it's going to be agonizing for all that time in the summer where we can't wait for the start of the NFL season, and then it's here. Now you get your best football, but the games shrink down. We just have less games. I've always enjoyed Sunday and Red Zone and the Niners or the Raiders on, and just always constantly watching just a bunch of games. Now we get to the best stuff, hopefully, and ultimately getting teams to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. So for the 49ers to lose yesterday, grand scheme of things, really not that big a deal. They end the year 12-5, sharing the NFC best record with Dallas and Detroit, but they've got the tiebreaker, so they are the 1 seed. And Baltimore, they too didn't have to win. Pittsburgh got them. Pittsburgh ended up needing help. Pittsburgh got in. Baltimore ends 13-4. They too have the bye in the AFC. But here's what's can be great about the NFL is there were so many teams that were still in play that had a chance to get in the postseason yesterday, all the way up to last night. The Sunday night game didn't matter for playoff getting in or not. It could have for the Bills, but with Jacksonville losing, Buffalo was in, but then they could still win the division. And ultimately they did. Pretty thrilling finish between Buffalo and Miami. And so Buffalo ends up winning the AFC East. So I told you on Friday, what I'm going to do is take a picture of the standings of what they were going into the weekend, because we say that a lot. Oh, if the playoffs started today, this is what it would look like. So I did that and wanted to see how much of a shakeup we would actually have happen over the weekend. Well, let's start with the NFC, because this was not as dramatic as we had in the AFC. On Friday, the playoff picture looked like this. The 7 seed was Green Bay. The 2 seed was Dallas. The 6 seed, the Rams. The 3 seed, the Lions. The 5 seed, the Eagles. The 4 seed, Tampa. And the 49ers getting the bye. Well, that's what we got. That stayed the exact same. Now, in all of that, we got some drama because the Saints did their part by beating Atlanta. Saints could have gotten in. They needed the Packers and the Seahawks to lose. Well, that part didn't happen. By the way, we had some drama at the end of that Saints-Falcons game in which the Saints offense that was out on the field called off kind of the kneel down by Dennis Allen, and they got Jamal Williams his first touchdown of the year after he had whatever, a ridiculous amount, 17, 20. I can't even remember how many he had last year for Detroit. He hadn't scored all year. Well, they called it off, scored a touchdown. Arthur Smith did not like that at all. it didn't look like he was going to fight Dennis Allen, but he was really questioning that. And then last night, the news came down that Atlanta has fired Arthur Smith. I don't think it was a result of that last play. It was a result of the season. It was a result of them missing the postseason. They had a chance to win the division, and they finished 7-10. So the NFC, kind of much ado about nothing in the final week, even though teams had to do what they had to do to get there. We also had that Philly loss. So Philly, at one point seemed like the team to beat in the NFC and a lot of our power rankings all year. We had the Eagles at number 1. Well, they are truly limping into the postseason at 11-6. And we kept saying, man, if they could get through that schedule gauntlet, that end finish, Cardinals and Giants, that's a ninth. It was actually Giants, Cardinals, Giants. That's a nice, smooth landing for them. Well, they beat the Giants, then lost to the Cardinals, and then lost to the Giants yesterday, and really were blown out. But in the end, this is how they finished. Losses to the Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks, beat the Giants, lost to the Cardinals, lost to the Giants. So the Eagles have lost 5 of their last 6. Now, how about the AFC playoff picture? Took that, literally, the picture on Friday. This is what it looked like going into the weekend. We knew that the Ravens would have the bye. That stayed the same at number 1. 7 seed going into the weekend was the Indianapolis Colts at the number 2 seed Miami Dolphins. Those two things changed. The 6 seed Buffalo Bills at the number 3 seed Kansas City Chiefs. Part of that changed. The 5 seed Cleveland Browns at the 4 seed Jacksonville Jaguars. So the thought was Jacksonville and Indianapolis would get in. Instead, it's Houston that gets in, that wins the division. And then you had Pittsburgh needing some help. Pittsburgh had to win. They beat the Ravens in that monsoon on Saturday. And then they needed Jacksonville to lose. And Jacksonville clearly had a disappointing weekend and a disappointing game to close out the year, and they finished 9-8. So you have the Ravens at 1. Bills are the 2 seed. They will face number 7 Pittsburgh. 3 seed Chiefs. They will host the 6 seed Miami Dolphins, and the 4-5 matchup, Houston will host the Cleveland Browns. So it happens every year. There were plenty of teams still in play, and we had the juggling on week 18, even with different starting quarterbacks, people out. The NFL is so good at creating drama on a week-to-week basis. And I still think that has got to be the appeal of a sport that I think still frustrates a portion of society. I think it's obviously still very, very physical, and injuries happen, and how safe is the sport? But yet every Sunday or Saturday, some cases Thursday, Monday, they play everywhere.
Occasional Tuesday,
Mexico City, England, London, wherever they're going.
Brazil next year,
on the moon, wherever. On a aircraft carrier if they wanted. You're watching. I mean, it's shown us a streaming, over the air, cable. I saw they kept saying, on last night's game, one of the playoffs, I think, is streaming only. And I thought, wow, for a playoff game? Which game is that this weekend? You can see that because in the end, I'm assuming people will watch it. Let's see. Yeah, it's the Dolphins Chiefs. That's crazy. I didn't realize
that's something you want behind a paywall.
Yeah. So NBC has the Browns Texans, Peacock, Dolphins Chiefs.
I know what they're doing.
What's that?
They're trying to get all the Swifties to buy Peacock.
Oh, and it's funny because that game, that was the game already that had it. But that is the one they put in that time slot. Interesting. CBS has Steelers, Bills. Fox gets Packers, Cowboys. NBC again gets Rams, Lions, and then the wraparound. ESPN, ABC gets Eagles, Buccaneers. But we've reached that time, Chris, where there is a game in the playoffs that you have to pay for if you don't have Peacock. Well, I guess you're paying for that, which I didn't realize I was paying for that, but I'm paying for that.
That's how they get you.
Exactly. Well, actually, I got it at the beginning when it wasn't something you paid for. And then I think there was probably at some point like, hey, you want to watch this show? And maybe I had clicked a button. I'm like, yeah, I want to watch the show. I have Peacock. Probably had to pay for it then or whatever to start a subscription. And now I'm hooked. Or I don't even know if I'm hooked, but I'm on it.
They got me because I have to use it for soccer.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't even know how much is it?
It is
$4.99 or something. $2.99.
$4.99 a month, but then for $9.99 a month, you get no commercials.
Oh, okay.
That only really works on shows. So if you're watching like a live sporting event, they just show you promos, which is almost worse than commercials.
Yeah. Wait, instead of commercials, that's what we get as promos? I guess
if you have like the if you have the no commercials set up.
So this weekend, Dolphins Chiefs, it's just going to be promos for other Peacock or NBC shows.
Maybe.
All right. Well, nonetheless,
that's what they do for WWE.
Yeah, I will be watching. All right. Still to come, we got to get more into this Kings debacle from yesterday. Good win Friday, terrible performance yesterday. I also want to bounce around the NBA a little bit. Some interesting things going on with a couple of teams like the Golden State Warriors. Huge injury to Chris Paul. Draymond Green will be coming back. They had a rough loss yesterday, too. We'll bounce around the league. The Kings were awful yesterday. We've got all that and more. That's coming up here on Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
If you're looking for a new couch, you could cut down on expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Because you know you've had this couch for too long. Sure, you've had good times together, but a ripped-up cushion is not a fond memory. It's a sign. Notice how other people have couches with 2 armrests? Now that's living, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renters and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new couch. Please, it's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states. New year, new you. And what better way to start fresh than with a new ride from Elk Grove Kia? Nothing beats second. Whether it's a second shot at love, a second shot at life, or even seconds at the all-you-can-eat buffet. But when it comes to your next car, no one believes more in second chances than Elk Grove Kia. Bankruptcies, challenged credit, no problem. Our finance department specializes in turning challenges into triumphs. We guarantee no one does challenged credit better than us. Elk Grove Kia can get you into a new ride in 2024. Elk Grove Kia's finance department has over 100 years of combined experience. Elk Grove Kia's team can navigate even the most challenging credit pasts. We understand that life happens, and we're here to help you move forward in a brand new Kia. So don't wait any longer when you could be enjoying 2024 in a brand new Kia. Head over to Elk Grove Kia today in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or visit elkgrovekia.com. Your second chance awaits. New year, new you, new ride. Only at
Elk Grove Kia.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sactown Sports.
Quote, I feel sorry for the fans that spent their money to come watch this game today. End quote. Mike Brown yesterday. Yeah, they are people that spend their hard-earned money to watch this as a form of entertainment. There's some fans, myself included, just so passionate and care deeply about this team, the results, the win-loss, and hang on every one of that, probably to some respect in an unhealthy manner, but it's a relationship we've created. We want to see this team. We enjoy the success. The losses hurt, some more than others. Yesterday wasn't necessarily, to me, a hurtful loss, just flat out embarrassing. Flat out embarrassing. And, you know, we did, Dave and I last week had some fun with the bingo card of, okay, what's the excuse or whatever. To say the blanket statement, these things happen, is very, very true. But, and there's a huge caveat to this, but the problem is it's happened far too many times this season already for this team. Everyone's going to have a clunker. Everybody does. And everyone will. Few and far between. I mean, the best team in the league right now is what? Boston. Boston almost did the unthinkable. They are the one that almost broke the Pistons losing streak. Now the Pistons since have won. That'll ironically be the Kings' next opponent. But the Boston was undefeated at home. They were playing their guys. And Detroit was up by 20. Now, credit Boston. They found a way to win that one in overtime. But they avoided one of those things. So it does happen. Whatever. Forget that part. It's just the fact that how many times it's happened, the large deficits, the amount of them is alarming. Again, to be down 20, it's pretty common. 30 is not. Yesterday was the 5th time this year. 5th for what is a good record team, the Sacramento Kings. And it's not, we haven't played 82. We haven't played 41 yet. 5 times. They've been down by 30 or more. And then this one got past 40 and got all the way to 50. It's the 3rd time it's been 40 or more in a game. 40? Now, that might happen once every 3 seasons, 4 seasons. That's pretty rare, even for bad teams. So 20, yeah, I know, bat an eye at that. 30, alarms go up. 40 is absurd, and 50 just, man. So we'll hear more direct quotes and audio from Mike Brown. I know the other thing that, people grab onto certain things, and again, just like we tell you, I'm not going to tell you how to fan. I'm not going to tell media. I mean, I guess maybe more times than not, I'll tell media how to media because everybody does it a little bit differently. And I get it. I'm not one. We air the post game. I'm on the post game show, and we'll air what is being supplied to us, whether the Kings win and there's a guest that comes over and talks to G-Man. The locker room access, or more importantly, not more importantly, but more fitting of what we air is what goes down in the press conference room. Mike Brown is always available. Usually there's 2 players that become available. Well, the Kings lost. I wouldn't have wanted to talk about it, but it's part of the profession. And what a lot of the media here, and I don't blame them at all, seemed to have an issue with yesterday is the fact that Keon Ellis was the only player that came out to speak on behalf of the Kings. This isn't a shot at Keon Ellis. If anything, it's a compliment to him. But if leadership is being questioned, if the best players are being questioned, where was Sabonis? Where was Fox? Where was Murray, Barnes, Monk, so on and so forth? So that's more of a team issue. But the media jumped on that. And again, I'm not saying they're wrong at all. In fact, yeah, I want to hear what they have to say. They don't have to bring them all out, and maybe that's a rotation. Like, Fox, you did it last time, so DeMontis, you're up. One of the two. Like, right, that's the team leaders. Those are the franchise guys. They get enough praise. Well, they have to wear this too. And they do, and they are. But you'd like to see them have to answer some questions and maybe being held more accountable, at least towards the media. As far as the league goes, we're going to get back into the Kings here a lot more coming up. And again, at 8, Sactown Sports Kings insider Frankie Cardicelli will join us, and your Jiffy Lube drive of the game coming up at 7:45. But around the league, some interesting things happened over the last couple of days. I know when we talked to Sam Amick on Thursday, Dave was here, we were in studio, and there was just a ton of conversation about Darvin Ham being in serious trouble. And I was a little taken back by that, and it's still likely the case. When they lost on Friday night to Memphis, I thought, man, if what Sam is saying is true and what others are reporting, he might not make it to the weekend. Then they played the Clippers last night, and I thought, okay, for sure if they lose this game, I guess based on what I'm hearing from these guys, this is probably it. Well, they found a way to win. They're still 18-19, though. A game below 500, hanging on to that final spot in the play-in at number 10. The team right below them had an interesting weekend, too, to say the least. The Golden State Warriors. They're 17-19. They won on Friday, lost yesterday, got blown out by the Toronto Raptors. And what was odd about that game, I watched a good portion of that game yesterday, too. And looking at social media and following some people in the Bay Area, the Warriors, coincidentally, by hosting Toronto, there was a ton of trade talk about Pascal Siakam and the Golden State Warriors. So it feels like since Siakam has been rumored to be on the block, he was here on Friday, all the rumors and whirlwinds going around, and then boom, he moves on to San Francisco, and then it starts to hit there. I think those are easy targets. Teams, the Kings certainly could use a boost. The Warriors certainly could use a boost. And with Siakam being a guy that allegedly is on the block, 1 + 1 = 2, move on, connect the dots, however you want to do it, that's where the rumors start to go. What's Toronto interested in? What are the Warriors interested in? What are the Kings interested in? If we go back to Friday, the reports, how accurate or not, which I believe would probably be accurate, saying the Kings would put up Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell. And I say, yeah, of course they will. I would too. And not in a way like get rid of these guys. No, it's if you could get Pascal Siakam or a player like that for those three, yes. Yes, I would do it. Toronto would not, I don't think. And certainly not on what was Friday, January 5th. Got to wait to see as you get closer to the deadline what other offers come up. So then that's allegedly out there. Hosting the pregame show, then during the pregame, word comes from Shams that the Sacramento Kings are no longer in talks with the Toronto Raptors. Well, let's break that down to the best of our knowledge. That to me is code for Kings put up Mitchell, allegedly. Barnes, Huerter, maybe picks, I don't know. Toronto says no. Toronto says, we want Keegan. Sacramento says, no thanks. That to me is, let's make sure this is now publicly known, right? Whether that's agents or the Kings front office, that we are no longer in conversations with Toronto. These things do happen. I'm always intrigued by the way they get out and why they get out, because usually there's reasons behind that. And so I'm sure Sacramento would love to make a deal, like I said earlier, for a significant player without compromising their roster. That's where they're at. People are going to want key parts of their roster. To me, people are going to want Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, and picks. That's my guess. Now, you can make a smaller move around the edges. Maybe that's enough to help this team. Maybe it's not. Do you make the bigger move in the offseason? Do you strike now? That's where Monty McNair, Wes Wilcox, that front office, to me, currently sit that kind of difficult position. Now, the Warriors, are they going to be forced to make a move? Draymond Green looks like the suspension. He's now allowed to return the team. He'll be back. He's going to need a little ramp up to get ready, but it also falls on the heels of Chris Paul fracturing his hand on Friday. He's going to have surgery. Timetable seems to be about 6 weeks. So the Warriors enter tonight 17-19, just a half game above Utah, but that's for the 11th spot right now, they would be out of the play-in scenario. So the Warriors had a weekend where you had some young players like Moody and Kuminga recently coming out, frustrated with their playing time, losing their faith in Steve Kerr, Draymond coming back, and Chris Paul breaking his hand. And Steph Curry, by the way, another night where he didn't make a three. Remember that streak that was finally broken in Portland? Well, now he had another night where he didn't hit a three-pointer. So interesting things going around the NBA. Much more on the Kings' loss to the Pelicans in the next hour. When we come back, today is usually doomsday around the NFL for coaches getting the boot. We've already had 2 coaches out, but the highest profile name, what's going on with Bill Belichick? We'll talk about that when we come back.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air. Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at PowerCopy.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
It looks like your luggage is over 50 pounds. Is there anything you can take out?
Oh, yeah. Let me just toss all these $20 bills.
Great. Let me grab you a trash can.
Stop. Instead of throwing money away, move some clothes into a carry-on. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Yeah, we're replacing the carpets too, so don't worry about that.
No fresh powder yet, but Dan's Ski Lodge has an avalanche of projects.
Those 4 rooms are getting hot tubs.
He needs a staff engineer to navigate a flurry of new requests.
And all of those will be fully ADA accessible.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The new year is upon us with promises of new beginnings and new adventures, but don't let 2023 slip away without savoring the memories of all you enjoyed with family and friends. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Of course, looking forward with anticipation is exciting, but I have a lot to appreciate in this past year, and much of that revolves around time with family and more good times spent around my Naturewood dining table. Watching my grandson get messy with his birthday cake is priceless, and it reminds me that new life is the perfect balance between yesterday and today. Greet the new year with a visit to Naturewood Home Furnishings. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's New Year sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sactown Sports. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
You know, it's funny, you do this long enough, a lot of people that I run across that, whether it's family members, friends, or others that go, man, especially since yesterday's game was so easy, or so early, excuse me. Well, it was easy for the Pelicans. But they talked to a few people like, oh, man, it's going to be a rough show tomorrow. I never really look at it that way. It's not like, and believe me, I don't look forward to talking about a game in which they played like this, but it almost opens up just more talking points. I'm not saying it's easier to talk about. It's better when they win, and it's more fun and enjoyable. And I'd love everything to be rosy, and it's not. But the spot they're in, like I've said multiple times, and I'll continue to say this about the Kings, is it's not completely broken, but you also are looking at something that you go, it's not good enough, and that's where it's tricky, because if you go to Friday night, per se, and you watch the Raptor game, at moments, there's some really pretty basketball by the Kings. They still do some of the things that helped us all kind of fall in love with the squad that was on the come up last year, that was finding its groove, sharing the ball, record-setting offense, hitting threes, 30 assists, shooting 50%. Yeah, and they'd be nice. You go, man, they can't really guard anybody, but they're winning 135-128. Or they're beating the Clippers 176-175 in one of the greatest games in NBA history. They didn't win them all. They had some clunkers in there too. But this year, whether it's expectations, whether it's honestly, I would say the rest of the league not catching up to the Kings, but really playing a style that the Kings played. Now the Pacers are way better at it. Others are better at it. The Kings historically, what they did last year, that offense, I think we saw the other day, is like 6th all-time already from being number 1. So there's that many teams playing better pace, better efficiency, better offense than the Kings did last year. So the defense marginally better, if at all. The offense, it has dropped. And it's not broken offensively, I wouldn't say. But like I said earlier in the show, if the Kings run into a team that has a physical center and long athletic wings that can also bother Fox, so you get the physical center that really pushes or battles Sabonis. I wouldn't say people really push him around, but battle him like Valanciunas. And then you could put Herb Jones, Murphy, Alvarado, who didn't even play. I thought Alvarado being out was going to be a bigger deal. Zion was out, by the way. Kings missing Lyles. All those things added up. Shouldn't have been a 50-point deficit, but the Kings have been owned, absolutely owned by the New Orleans Pelicans. So with that said, kind of hearing from people here on the text line at 339-1140, where did it rank as far as worst losses? There were actually the worst loss in the Sacramento era, 62 points to the Warriors back in, I want to say it was 88, 89, something like that. Just a couple years ago, I remember the Kings were down 60 at Boston at one point. Ended up losing that by 40-something. So it wasn't the worst loss. Wasn't the worst loss in the building. They lost to the Jazz at Golden One Center a few years ago by about 49, I think it was. But the fact that you had to look it up and see is enough of a statement. Also in the text line, the best trade we can make with the assets that we have should be Harrison Barnes and his $17 million, Kevin Huerter and his $15 million, Davion Mitchell and his $5 million, and a first-round pick to Detroit for Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec Burks, and Killian Hayes. Okay. Far different trade than what some others are looking at. Now, today, and more on the Kings coming up, we got 3 for Madness here in a little bit. Also, Frankie Cardicelli joins us at 8 in a big deep dive into the Sacramento Kings. Today is generally the day that we wrap up the NFL season and NFL coaches get the boot. Last night didn't take very long. Arthur Smith out in Atlanta. Some developments there today, right now as we speak, on that position. It is open. Bill Belichick is under contract, still the coach of the New England Patriots, but reports are coming out that Atlanta is a team to watch if, in fact, Bill Belichick and the Patriots part ways. And this is where things 100% will be semantics. The Patriots do not want to fire Bill Belichick. I don't know that Bill Belichick wants to continue to coach the New England Patriots. It's probably reached its point. Yesterday, if you saw any bit of that game and just the snow flurries that were falling, it's been an awful year. He probably wants a different look at a roster. I don't think he's forgotten how to coach. I think he's been a worse GM than he's been a coach. He's been a great coach, a legendary coach, one of the greatest coaches we've ever seen. He hasn't forgotten how to do it. He doesn't have the same personnel. The division was, for the longest time, a pretty easy division for him to win. Now the Bills have won it 4 straight years. The Dolphins have put up a little bit of a fight. The Jets are trying to do it, and the Patriots just couldn't compete. Here was Belichick yesterday talking about his future.
Disappointing year for all of us, players, coaches, staff, entire organization, and not anything that any of us are in any way content with. So, but it is what it is. So, I'll address some questions on the game. As far as the future goes, I'll sit down with Robert, as I do every year at some point at the end of the season, and we'll talk about things as we always do. I'm sure that'll happen, but that's really about all I have to say about that right now, because there's nothing else to talk about.
Well, I'm sure he didn't want to talk about the game much. He was also asked about just the fact if this is something he still enjoys.
Bill, the loss to the Jets did drop you to 4-13. Would you characterize this as one of the most difficult seasons you've ever coached? And has it taken any of the wind out of your sails as far as the effort it takes to coach?
No, I mean, I enjoy coaching. Like I said, it was a disappointing season. I covered that in the opening statement. And I don't have anything to add. That's how I feel. But no, I like coaching the team. I like preparing the team, game planning, coaching on Sundays. But the results weren't good, and none of us are happy with those.
Yeah, so I mean that right there, and hearing his press conference, he does want to coach, and I don't blame him. If he wants to coach, he can coach. I think there will be teams that will be coveting him. It probably feels like it's the right time for his departure in New England, and I just can't see them firing him. Now, again, semantics. They probably want him gone. He probably wants to leave, but they will make this sound a little bit better than that, as far as just instead of just being as cutthroat as, the Patriots are firing him. So that's something to watch as far as his future, where it belongs, where it should belong, where he'll go. Atlanta is a team that we mentioned with Arthur Smith being out. He was fired yesterday. The developments today, Ron Rivera, no surprise there. He was given the boot of the Washington Commanders. Here was Rivera yesterday after the game.
You're going to go through some hard times. It ain't going to be easy. That's just the way it is. And this was not one of those easy times. But there's a lot of learning and a lot of growing that have gone on. And, if there is one thing, I really do think this ownership group is just as passionate as this fan base. They want to win. And that's something that was always made clear to me, and one thing that Mr. Harris has always stood by. And so I got a lot of respect for that. They were always up front. They're always honest. So, again, I just look forward to the conversation tomorrow.
All right. Well, that conversation is a quick one, a brief one, and if you're going to do it fast. The Commanders have relieved Ron Rivera of his head coaching duties. No surprise there. The surprise is the group that's going to help lead the charge to find the next head coach. And that group includes a couple of former GMs, including former Minnesota Vikings GM Rick Spielman. He will assist the ownership group, as well as former Golden State Warrior general manager Bob Myers. So those guys are going to help that process of finding the next head coach for the Commanders. Word out of Seattle on Pete Carroll is that he will be okay and keep his job. But things to watch today about other potential coaches getting the boot, if there is others, and then certainly still could happen for some of these playoff teams. Probably not, but you never know. We've seen some playoff teams dismiss their coaches if there's an early exit. All right, we've got much more basketball to get to. The Kings lose again to the Pelicans. The large margins of defeat this season, and really the large margins of defeat to the Pelicans. Just how can the Kings fix this? We've got that coming up. But next, 3 for Madness, 3 questions, 3 answers, all brought to you by our friends at Fire Wings. That's all straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Snatched De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, Fire Wings brings us 3 for Madness each and every day here around 7:15. Fire Wings, 21 delicious flavors of wings. Christopher Ladd, what is question number 1 here on 3 for Madness?
In round 2, the 49ers could play the Packers, Rams, Eagles, or Buccaneers. Rank them in order of who you would like to see the 49ers play.
Well, they just played the Rams. I think, division knowledge can be a good thing, and they've owned the Rams over the years, but I would put them last for some reason, just a little bit of concern with them. I would have put the Eagles there, before too, just because, look, I still think they're a talented team that if they could find their groove, and obviously if they win this next week and other things fall in place, they'll have won their most recent game. They already beat the Buccaneers this year. Really, they beat every team but the Packers. So I like the Niners' chances against all of them, at least in round 2. Let me see. But to put it in order, since I've seen all that, let's have them play the Packers. Packers first. Then I'd probably put it the Buccaneers, Eagles, and the Rams as far as order of who I'd like to see them play. All right, question 2.
Question 2.
The Kings went 1-1 Friday and Sunday. If you could flip-flop the win and loss between Toronto and New Orleans, would you do it?
Well, and I guess I'm assuming the same kind of result, like they would have lost badly to Toronto if we're giving them the
and would have been down 50 at one point.
Yes. So if we're got to be fair, it's like you're giving them a win against New Orleans, but a loss to Toronto. They're getting embarrassed. Well, I would like it because then we'd be talking about a win coming into this road trip with at least a win and some momentum, but those flaws are still out there as far as how badly they've lost. And logically, I would say yes, because it's more important to beat a Western Conference team than it is an Eastern Conference team. I think it's important to know that you could beat this New Orleans team. We were saying this yesterday, Chris, that, look, there's a long way to go to the playoffs. If the Kings are fortunate enough to make it, if New Orleans is fortunate enough to make it, if I'm New Orleans, teams like, we don't care who we play. If I'm the Pelicans, I do what I can the last 2 weeks to try to line up to play the Kings. I mean, that has clearly been a matchup the Kings have had zero clue with. And so, like they're sitting guys or playing guys more. They're just trying to line up with Sacramento.
And that's what the Kings want them to do.
Yeah, reeling them in. Lose one more time on April 11th, go 0-5, and then just, hook them in. And then they've got them when they want them.
Got them where they want them.
I would, so logically, I would say yes. I would love to flip-flop them just because of beating the Western Conference team. But the reason I would say no to this is back to what I said earlier, the fact-finding mission. The front office needed to see this again. I don't know if they needed to, but they saw it again. And I think it's just giving them more reminders of what they're short of, what they're missing, how unacceptable a game like yesterday is. And I think around the league, more and more teams with the high scoring, with the point discrepancy, we're seeing more blowouts, but this is absurd. And why one team has done this much damage. I mean, the Kings have what? That was their 14th loss yesterday? Yeah. 4 of them are to New Orleans. And unfortunately, they play them a 5th time, like I said, in late April. So, yeah, it happened. Got to put it out there. That puts the Kings in, again, a negative point differential. They're the only one in the top 9 in the West. It just sticks out there. I mean, you got teams like Oklahoma City plus 7 points per game, plus 5 for Denver, plus 5 for Minnesota, and they're the Kings minus 0.3. Because they keep losing games like this. The amount of games they've lost by 15 points or more, a bit upsetting for me, and I'm sure for the front office as well. All right, question 3.
Question 3.
Michigan and Washington tonight for the Natty.
The Natty.
Who you got?
Who you got, Chris?
Come on, Michigan.
Michigan. Why? Why'd you say it like that?
Because I hate the people of Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
They do not deserve this win.
Are you a Harbaugh guy?
I would hope that they cheat and they're proven cheaters and that they still win.
And then Washington, like years down the road, would say, no, we won the title. They got stripped from it.
And then I go, oh, then where is it?
Yes. Where do those go? When teams get stripped of the title, it doesn't go to the other team. It just is taken away from the one.
Yeah. That's how it should be.
Yeah. Are you a Harbaugh guy? Yeah. It really feels like this is his last game.
I think I was a Harbaugh guy when he faced Pete Carroll.
Yeah. That was peak Harbaugh to me. Just like that little rivalry, that little feud, and his quirkiness, and
like running it up against USC. That was pretty sweet.
Oh, when he's at Stanford. Oh, yeah. I love that. I really love that. This is his last game, isn't it? He's going to the pros.
Has to be.
Yeah, it just feels like it is. Whether the school gets pinched and he's gone, which is another problem also. But he's been good there, really good. I think he's got a really good shot of winning tonight. And if he has any interest, Chris, in going to the NFL, we just talked about Bill Belichick in the last segment. Bill Belichick is the most decorated coach in the NFL and one of the greatest coaches in all of sports. And that's how it ends for him, likely in New England. So just seeing that, if you're Harbaugh, likely if you win tonight, but if you win, it's the perfect time to cash out and go.
What I am a little bit scared about is him going to the Raiders and them giving up on another guy that the entire team loves.
Yeah.
And I mean, he hasn't been in the NFL for a long time. Like, what if he comes here and goes to Vegas and just stinks?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what his, like in college, he has more control of building that. The NFL, there's other pieces. I mean, there are GMs and other people that make the decision for you. And I think you got a lot of really good people at it. I think college, there's such an advantage on your university's name and your head coach's name that can launch a program and be successul for a decade.
Easier to cheat.
That too. What are you suggesting, Connor Stallions? Yeah.
I love that there's really nothing that they could have done. Well, they could just give them headphones like they do in
right.
Just give them speakers like they do in the NFL.
Yeah.
Where they don't have this problem.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm trying to think is there ways to cheat in the NFL? I mean, I guess Belichick has been accused of that, and the Patriots have been accused of that. It feels like this is it for Harbaugh. So I think they're gonna win. I think they're the favorite. I will, unlike you, I will be rooting for the Pac-12 in their swan song, Michael Penix in Washington. I just don't think they'll win. And I'm gonna go back to, I still think if Michigan wins tonight or if Washington wins tonight, I still think the best team in college football is Georgia.
So why do you want Washington to win?
Pac-12. I like Pac-12. Oh, come on. Final year, there's no nostalgia for you?
No.
You just hate Seattle. What if that was Arizona?
No.
Random Pac-12 team, West Coast, West-ish. No. You like Michigan?
No.
Okay, so
I don't like Arizona either.
All right.
Like if it was Oregon,
okay.
I'd root for Oregon.
All right, let me test your Pac-12 versus Michigan allegiance. So no on Washington. How about Washington State? You appreciate nobody seems to have a true allegiance to Washington State, or are you just lumping them into?
I'm putting them. Sorry, Washington State.
They're not Seattle, though.
Sorry, Cougars.
All right.
Washington isn't that great either.
All right. But see, you don't like Portland.
I love Portland.
Oh, no, you like Portland. What am I? Okay, Oregon. So you'd say Oregon State?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go Beavers.
Stanford?
Yeah.
Cal?
Oh, yes.
Arizona?
No.
Arizona State?
Absolutely not.
Arizona State? Absolutely not?
Yeah.
Why?
They're both in Arizona.
What's wrong with Arizona?
Ugh, it's just gross.
Utah?
No.
Colorado?
Yes.
Because of Dion?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your infatuation with Dion?
It
Dion
would be
versus
just
Harbaugh
fun.
would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
UCLA?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Good. I was saving them for that. And USC?
Absolutely not.
Yes. You passed. Why no on USC?
I hate USC.
I mean, it's the right answer, but why?
They're just awful. They're awful people.
I'm glad you're saying it and I don't have to. Tonight, yeah.
Name one good person who ever came out of USC.
Well, did he go there? Did Will Ferrell go there? Or is he just connected to that program?
I think so.
I think he did.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
To the internet. Look it up. There's too many connections there. I know he's from Irvine High. I can tell you that. Whether or not he went to USC, I don't know. But tonight, I think Washington is who I'll be rooting for, but I think Michigan will win. I think Harbaugh will be named a head coach of one of the NFL openings here pretty soon, too. I think he will leave the University of Michigan. All right, when we come back, do we have...
You're right.
Yeah, I thought so.
No, I hate Will Ferrell. Thank you.
When we come back, the Kings lose again to the Pelicans. This was rough as it gets. We'll hear from Mike Brown and more. That's straight ahead.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Monday, kicking off the new work week with a cool start. It's chilly out there. Expect some patchy areas of frost. As we head through the day ahead, expect sun and clouds mixing in with highs in the lower 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
When it's chilly cold at night, don't just add another blanket. Add a new furnace system instead. Now for as low as $5,999 with 0% interest and no payments for 18 months. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Right now, American Energy offering $0 HVAC diagnostics. That's normally $99 for nothing. Let the American Energy team test your system, connections, and all the moving parts of your system to ensure it's functioning properly. Let me say that again. $0 to get your HVAC diagnostic-ted. That's not even a word. That's normally $100. Making the uncomfortable comfortable. That's what American Energy does. That's what they've done since 1981. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since then. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Do it before January 31st or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
It's time to buck up Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. Get your tickets for a weekend of non-stop bucking action this February 2nd through 4th.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of thousands of customers every single day. Learn how you can leverage their reach for your business. Text digital to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text digital to 916-766-5105.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and vocal.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Ball fake inside, hands them up. Puck goes inside, slams into a defender. That's like running into a wall, and he was rejected. Here's the alley-oop in transition. Pelicans have their biggest lead of the ball game. It's 65-41. And the Kings turn it over again. McCollum feeds a pass to Brandon Ingram. Pelicans are just having fun here. Ingram digging against Keegan. Then a step back baseline turnaround is good. Rebounding for the visitors. They now have their 35th rebound to Sacramento's 13th. And a three-point shot is knocked down by C.J. McCollum. He's now got a 30-point ball game. Second time this season that he's had 30. His high this year, 33 points against Detroit. 89-55. No lighting of the beam today. A 4-game homestand ends on a clunker. It started with a real clunker as they lost to Charlotte and then had back-to-back wins that get a little respect going as Sacramento knocked off Orlando and Toronto. But today it was the Pelicans from the get-go. 133-100.
Yeah, brutal. Absolutely brutal yesterday. The score wasn't even that close. Sacramento Kings, dreadful at home. Those early starts, seemingly, in my recollection, they just haven't done as well. I mean, I say early, 3 o'clock. That's not why they lost, believe me. Pelicans are a problem for this team. So here we are with last night's performance. I've said this now for a while about this team. If we look at the big picture where they are standing wise, I believe they're stayed in 5th. Let me double check that. Yep. Still the 5 seed, but that's very fluid. I mean, the Pelicans are technically 7th, and just percentage points, the Kings are ahead of them.
Did you happen to hear what CJ McCollum said, why he plays so good in Sacramento?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Because the Kings were supposed to draft him, second interview. And, it's funny that he said that. I'm sure he feels that way. I want to say maybe it was last year. I thought he had a couple of games here where he was absolutely awful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's easy to hit that narrative he's 11 years or 10 years into the league. I don't know that he's holding on to that. Maybe he is. I mean, more power to him. If he
I think it's a nice thing
It's a nice thing to say when you have a great game. And he was awesome. He was incredible yesterday. He was part of the reason why the Kings lost. The Kings didn't play well. They haven't played well against New Orleans. I don't know if De'Aaron Fox is hurt. I saw him take one of his takes to the basket, kind of holding his midsection and his hand a little bit. But we say this all the time too. If you play, if you are suited up, you get evaluated. And De'Aaron's not going to apologize for that. It was one of the worst games we've seen him play. Hit a 3-pointer to begin the scoring for the Kings, put him up 3-2. He didn't make another basket. I think it was 5 games in his rookie career where he scored 2 points. I mean, to see De'Aaron have 3, if he had 30, Kings are still losing that game. That's not the point. It's just De'Aaron being off is one. 2, the way the Pelicans defend the Kings is another. And this is clearly a team. We talk a lot about matchups. Matchups are a problem. Now, if the Kings drew the Pelicans in the playoffs, the Kings would have time to find their road, their avenue, their best chance to beat them. I don't really see it right now because we haven't seen it. And they haven't really been competitive with them at all. They've lost to them twice in the teens, and then been down 41 points and 50 points in a game to them. They had the game here that a lot of people are excited about the in-season tournament. You win, you go to Vegas. The Pelicans punked them. They have one more matchup against them, and that's in April. And we had someone on the text line ask us, so with this lineup, with the Kings, if they keep this lineup, would the Kings make it out of the first round? And I would say a couple things to that. First, they have to get there. And I know that may seem like, they're going to get there. Well, I think they will. I think they can keep this lineup and make it. I do. But the second part is it depends on who they play. Honestly, that's to me, I think that's the case. Now, let's go to last year. When they played the Warriors, Warriors were playing better coming in. Kings were playing fine going into the playoffs. They had a good year, earned their 3 seed. But when you have time and you prepare and you find your map, the Warriors decided early on what we are going to do is do our best to be physical and try to take Domantas Sabonis as much out of the game. And they did a really good job with that. Now, the Kings still took the first 2 games. They won game 6. It went 7 games. The Kings weren't dominated in that series, but the Warriors, I think, had a good game plan. They executed it, and they were able to advance. The Kings still had their moments in that series. So, as I said earlier, if the Kings run up against a team that I believe has a physical center that can bother, or physical big guys, doesn't have to just be a center, but multiple people they can throw at Domantas Sabonis, as well as length on the perimeter that can do a decent enough job on De'Aaron Fox and hurt the 3-point shooting of the Kings, it's really tough for Sacramento to win. So if they got New Orleans, I probably would pick New Orleans. If they played a team like, let's see, Dallas, maybe, Phoenix, maybe. I know there would be some concern there with their star power, but think the Kings would be able to do a lot of what they want offensively. OKC, they've had success against, but I really think it depends on who they play, and can those guys execute a plan that stops the Kings effectively enough? And that's where it gets into the trick of what this Kings team needs to improve. And I'm anxious to talk about this with Frankie coming up with our insider at 8 o'clock. I heard a lot of people saying immediately that the Kings need perimeter help, length, much like the Pelicans seem to have a bunch of guys like that. So let's put a pretty good, long, athletic wing that might be gettable without mortgaging the Kings on this roster. And the name I'm just coming up with without doing that deep of a dive is Matisse Thybulle. I think a lot of people would like to see Matisse Thybulle on this team. Okay. So let's put him on the Kings. And at what expense, I don't know. Just some bench player depth and a pick. I don't think it's going to cost the Kings a ton. So if Matisse Thybulle was there yesterday, I think nothing changes. Nothing. I think you also have to look at this team and go, they're not a great defensive team, though they're working on it, but they're not great. They were great offensively last year. They're good offensively this year. They're 8th in scoring in the league. Do you attack that and say, we need another shooter? We need to find another playmaker. We need to find another player that could create something if Fox and Sabonis and I guess Monk are taken away. Maybe you think, no, that's already a strength. They need help defensively. Again, that to me is the puzzle that they have to try to work on. Can you try to get both? Maybe a good perimeter defender and a scorer? Sure. How do you get that? Like I said earlier, I think the draw from the Kings for other teams, we can all make the fantasy GM trade and put what we would consider filler from the Kings to get someone or something you want. The other teams aren't going to be as interested in that. Let's take, in fact, the case, if we read between the lines and think Friday was true, in that Herter, Barnes, Mitchell, some combination of that is what the Kings were talking to Toronto about. Toronto's not very interested in that. They're interested in Keegan Murray. Kings aren't interested in that. Well, then I open the question to you is Keegan Murray 100% off the board for you? I think you have to think about it. I'm not really that anxious in trading him. I don't know how anxious the Kings were or Kings fans were about trading Tyrese Halliburton. And maybe is that even a reason to pause and say, yeah, Tyrese is good. He's good. I honestly didn't know that Tyrese would become an all-star. I thought Tyrese was good. He's great now. He's great. Sabonis is great. They got an all-star for all-star. It's awesome. Sabonis was already one and will be one again and is a triple-double every night just about, or double-double for sure. But, you know, is that giving the Kings any reservation of, no, Keegan's untouchable? Maybe he is. I don't blame him for not wanting to give him up, especially, and I think Siakam's a unique case because Siakam is also a free agent. I think there's more risk in that. Maybe, but would that change your mind if it netted the Kings another, what you would consider elite player, all-star type player, under contract for a couple years? I don't know who that player is, but would that change your mind? And for some of you, he's completely off the books. I get it. These are the kind of things that Monty McNair has to think about. And, you know, this year, right now, if you look at the Western Conference standings, personally, I think Denver is really good. That starting five statistically is the best starting five in the league. I think they're a little thin on the bench. Minnesota is currently the 1 seed. It's rare for a team to jump in like that and then find their way all the way to a title. Thunder are kind of in that same position as the 3 seed. Then there's the Clippers and Kings. Mavs, Pelicans. I think the teams a lot of people were worried about in the West before the year started. Phoenix, the Lakers, and Warriors currently 9, 10, and 11, and 2 of those teams are below 500. Now, doesn't mean they can't make another move. Doesn't mean they won't play their best basketball at the end. But it feels like there's some opportunities here to strike at this while the West may be available. Now, all of that being said, maybe none of them can beat the top of the East, whether that's Milwaukee or Boston. Who knows? And last year, it was Miami that got through that, and I think gave a decent chance for Denver to get out of there with the title, and they deserved it, and they got it. So things the Kings have to think about. They've got to figure out a way when they play teams, and there's not a lot like New Orleans because, again, I'm going to say it. Like, I think when they played Minnesota, they're long and athletic. But the Kings in Minnesota shot over 50%, had over 30 assists. They kind of were able to do what they want offensively. When they played Toronto, a long, athletic, perimeter-oriented team, they shot over 50%, made a ton of threes. Offense was spectacular. Those are the games they win when their offense is great. Right now, when their offense isn't, they don't have another way to win. They haven't grinded out a lot of games this year. And so they've got to be able to find other ways to win that separates you from being a good team. Now, if everything is falling and going their way, they could beat everybody. That hasn't happened enough. And so when they have nights where Sabonis is bottled up a little bit or Fox is bottled up a little bit or the others aren't shooting well, they better hope they're playing a bad team or a team underperforming. That's what's been going on with the Kings. All right, when we come back, line up right now, 1-800-920-1140, 1-800-920-1140, or 339-1140 to identify the Jiffy Lube drive of the game. There was one yesterday. It came early. If you can tell us what it is, you will win a $100 gift certificate courtesy of Jiffy Lube. Also, NFL, 4 in and 4 out. That streak stays alive. We'll explain that next on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
The world has changed a lot these last 2 years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
I tried to quit smoking cigarettes probably hundreds of times over the years. 2 or 3 days into quitting again, I go get into a vehicle, and guess what? There's a pack of cigarettes in there. I mean, I've got the unlit cigarette in my hand. And I said to myself, why do I even try to quit if I'm going to cave so easily every time? Something clicked in my head that told me I can do this.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there, here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
New year, new you. And what better way to start fresh than with a new ride from Elk Grove Kia? Nothing beats second. Whether it's a second shot at love, a second shot at life, or even seconds at the all-you-can-eat buffet. But when it comes to your next car, no one believes more in second chances than Elk Grove Kia. Bankruptcies? Challenged credit? No problem. Our finance department specializes in turning challenges into triumphs. We guarantee no one does challenged credit better than us. Elk Grove Kia can get you into a new ride in 2024. Elk Grove Kia's finance department has over 100 years of combined experience. Elk Grove Kia's team can navigate even the most challenging credit pasts. We understand that life happens, and we're here to help you move forward in a brand new Kia. So don't wait any longer when you could be enjoying 2024 in a brand new Kia. Head over to Elk Grove Kia today in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or visit elkgrovekia.com. Your second chance awaits. New year, new you, new ride. Only at
Elk Grove Kia.
Carmichael Dave.
He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say.
He's good at what he does.
On Sactown Sports.
Again, your chance right now, 916-339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140. Dial us up. Let us know what the Jiffy Lube drive of the game was yesterday. And thanks to our friends at Jiffy Lube, you could win a $100 gift certificate to Jiffy Lube. All you have to do is identify that. We'll let you know it came early in the game in the first quarter when it was kind of still a game last night for the Sacramento Kings. So certainly you could do that. Weigh in right there. We're going to have Frankie Cardicelli join us here in a few moments. Plenty of conversation going on our text line at 339-1140. Also on our YouTube chat. We appreciate everyone checking in there as well. Someone said the Jiffy Lube drive of the game was any fan that left at the half.
Try it.
It got a standing ovation. Not the case. That is not the official Jiffy Lube drive of the game. So if you know what it is, let us know. Again, 916-339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140. Coming up, like you said, Frankie Cardicelli at 8, Niners at 9. We will check in with Matt Barrows. The 49ers get the much-deserved 1 seed. They didn't win yesterday, but we do know they'll have this weekend off. They can watch the playoffs and see who they will face at home in round 2. The beauty, in some case, I think the NFL has this right. We talk about the appeal of the sport. It's the fact that I think you can be a bad team and you could turn it around. It can happen fast. There's something that's happened in the NFL. I don't know what year the streak is on now, but I know it's 20, almost 30 plus years. And I know when I was working with Damian, we used to do this segment, and I did it again earlier this year, but basically 4 in and 4 out, and it's without fail. 4 playoff teams from the year before are going to be out, and 4 new teams are going to come in. And so this year, I was looking at it yesterday, go, well, did we get to 4 in and 4 out? Because it feels like there's a lot of teams returning. We got 6 in and 6 out. It just happens all the time. And that turnover in the NFL, I think, is appealing. If you look at last year in the AFC, here were your seeds. Kansas City was 1, Buffalo 2. They're both in. Cincinnati was a 3 seed. They missed this year. Jacksonville, the 4 seed. They missed this year. The 5 seed, the Chargers, they missed. Baltimore was 6. Miami was 7. So Cincinnati, Jacksonville, and the Chargers out. In the NFC, Philadelphia was the 1 seed. Niners, the 2 seed. Minnesota won the division. They were the 3 seed. They're out. Tampa Bay, the 4. Dallas, the 5. Giants were the 6. They're out. Seattle was the 7. They're out. So 6 teams out, 6 new teams in, replacing them. You got Pittsburgh making it this year. You got Cleveland making it this year. You've got Houston making it this year. Let's see. In the NFC, you welcome in Green Bay back to the mix. Let's see who else is in there this year for the NFC. Detroit, obviously, making it this year. So, you're getting some differences in there. And I think that's part of the draw. That's part of the likability of this, getting some new teams in the mix. In the Rams. And the Rams are the 6th team. So, Chris, here's a quick trivia for you. So, with that said, as far as the 6 in, 6 out, keeping that streak of 4 in and 4 out, what is your guess on the teams that have the longest current drought of making the playoffs in the NFL?
Who is it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the Jets, right?
The Jets are number 1. They haven't made it since 2011. So that's pretty long. Breaking the streak.
Imagine going that long without making the playoffs. Losers.
Breaking the streak this year was the Lions. They hadn't been in since 2017. And the Texans, it's 2020, but they were on the list of the top 5. Who else besides the Jets? There's 3 other teams that I guess we'll put in the top 4 here, but it's Jets are the longest by far, 2011.
Jets are the longest. I'm trying to think.
We've got a 2016 and 2 2018s.
That seems like 2016. That would be.
And that one's a little bit of a surprise to me.
They haven't been there. It's
a good team. Like traditionally, they've won Super Bowls. Not that long ago.
Patriots?
No.
Oh.
AFC.
Definitely not the Chargers.
They had a legendary quarterback come at the end of his career to play there. The Denver Broncos. It's been since 2016.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that does make sense.
And then the Panthers and the Falcons are at 2018. But that's it.
Falcons are just in the Super Bowl.
I know.
Wait, that was it, right?
Yeah, probably. Let's see. The Falcons, I think, made it in what? The last postseason appearance was 2017. Was that the 28-3 game? It was around there.
That should be, right?
Yeah. So I think this is good for the league to get turnover. I mean, Houston, think about Houston's run. Houston a year ago, Lovie Smith won on the final game of the year, ended up losing his job. They didn't get the number 1 pick. They end up getting C.J. Stroud, who proves to be just an amazing player. They hire DeMeco Ryans. He gets the benefit of all the success. They win the division. They're hosting a home playoff game this year from being the 2 seed last year, one of the worst teams in the NFL. The Browns, perennial doormats, have, of all years, as many injuries as they've ever had at the quarterback position. And they make it through all that. And if it wasn't for Baltimore, they probably would have won that division. But they had 3 in a very tough division. They get into the postseason for the first time in a while. The Lions, we know what their troubles have been. They're going to host a home playoff game against Matthew Stafford. That's one of the good storylines this weekend. So it's amazing to see the turnaround, the breakthrough, the year in and year out thought of the NFL when we feel like it's predictable. And in some sense, it can be. I would say going into the year, Philadelphia, 49ers. I think there was a lot of talk on Buffalo and Kansas City. Probably those as the primary 4 teams. At the end, Baltimore has the best seed, best record in the league. I don't know how many people saw that. People might have thought of Cincinnati as a team to get pretty far. They've been in the Super Bowl. They've been in the AFC Championship game. They've consistently been pretty good, yet they missed the postseason. Injuries are a big part of that. I felt like the one easy one when we were doing the 4 in and 4 out, I thought the Giants completely overachieved a year ago. I thought there was probably no way they get back in, and they didn't. So some things seem to be a bit more predictable in the NFL, but the fact that turnover, that breakthrough, teams like this year that did not do very well, a good offseason, a couple of smart moves, a few breaks, and there you go. We're going to have new, fresh blood in the postseason a year from now. So we'll do that show, obviously, in August, probably, maybe early September, on what we think the 4 teams that made the playoffs this year won't next year, the 4 in, the 4 out. But it happens, and the streak continued. And this year it was 6 in and 6 out, which is pretty darn amazing. All right, still to come on the show. We got to get into more on the Kings. Our insider, Frankie Cardicelli, he was there. He watched it. He heard the post-game press conference from Keon Ellis and from Mike Brown, who said he felt bad for the fans. And I hope he felt bad for the team and compelled to get this team to get going in a more consistent direction. I think that's the area that the Kings are chasing for the second half of the season. Finding competitive consistency. Again, the stance of where they are record-wise is fine. But the consistency of play is not, to me, what they want, what they're trying to achieve, what gives you the feel good about this team being a playoff threat. They've shown us they could beat Minnesota and Denver and OKC and some of the league's best, and they've got some good teams on this road trip coming up at the back end of it, whether it's Phoenix or Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and maybe they get a win or two in that stretch. That's all well and good. But also in this stretch, do they have a game where they lose by 25? That, to me, is what this Kings season has been. The mammoth losses, the quality wins. They've had a couple of stinkers, too. I'm not talking about the point differential. I'm talking about losing to teams with poor records. They've had that, and they're vulnerable to that at the front end of this trip with Detroit and Charlotte again. But it's just you get the feeling I think they'll get some wins on this trip, but why wouldn't we think there'd be a 20-plus point loss? That is what the trend has been with this team. That is the trend that I'd like to see stop very, very soon. All right, when we come back, our Sactown Sports Kings insider, Frankie Cardicelli, he joins us next.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox knocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
Congrats, and I also question, no, I should say congrats. Congrats to Evan, who was a winner during our break of our Jiffy Lube drive of the game. Evan quickly, or maybe not so quickly because it was a tough listen and watch last night, identified this as the Jiffy Lube drive of the game.
Sasha drives, kicks. Sabonis now drives, hands to Sasha. Layup. There's the ball movement you want to see. That was a terrific sequence right there by the Kings. And that's going to be your Jiffy Lube drive of the game.
That's right. So Evan identified that, and so a $100 gift certificate. Congrats. We'll have another one on Wednesday morning after the Tuesday game against the Detroit Pistons. All right, last night we've been talking about it. Just awful. Kings lost by 33, and it was worse. Felt a lot worse than that. Let's bring in our Sactown Sports Kings insider, Frankie Cardicelli. Frankie, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yes, last night, not an ideal Sunday. It just kind of felt like old times, and that's a bad thing in this case. And kind of grasping at whatever we can here. I'm trying to for silver linings. There's really none from last night. There really isn't any. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, I don't think last night did. I know some of the guys asked Coach Brown about the late part of the game, which, you know, the Kings had too many of these, Frankie, but earlier in the year, I think it was one of the games at Houston, if I'm not mistaken, and that late push in that game by a guy like Keon Ellis ultimately earned him some more minutes, and that was a feel-good thing there. But I just think last night was so out of hand that, you know, I credit the guys at the end, sure, for playing, but I don't feel like last night gave us any kind of feel-good that should help anything going forward.
Yeah, I mean, even from that end, like, yeah, there were some good minutes for some guys at the end of the game. That's what you want to see. You want to see, like, Kevin Huerter, just seeing the ball go through, I think would be good for his confidence going forward. The Kings really could use him reverting back to his usual form. And obviously you see some guys that haven't gotten much run in NBA game situations, like Colby Jones, Keon Ellis back on the floor. That's really all you can say that is a positive to come out of last night's game. And you kind of just hand it to those guys staying out there and continuing to compete when the game really was a joke. It was a laughing stock of a game. You're trailing by 50 points in front of a sold-out crowd on your home floor. It's a very, very tough look. So the fact that those guys were out there and able to compete and finish the game and do some good things again on Keon and Kevin's and do some good things out there. It does make you wonder, will the rotation look a little different? I think that Mike does often go to certain, like, minor tweaks. I mean, again, I think we talked about this before when the Kings have lost in big games like this. It's a matter of personnel at this point, like who's on the roster that can really go out there and who can fill those minutes and give you better than what we saw last night. Because, again, the Kings, who they've won 4 of 6, sure, but, I mean, these aren't games they've won comfortably by any means. And, you know, a win's a win in some of those, sure. But then you go back to the bad end of things where the losses just seem to be – they just snowball. They're not single possession or, you know, even a handful of possession losses. They're getting blown out by just big numbers. Half of their losses this year, 7 of their 14 losses are by 17 or more points. So that's just the end of things that aren't familiar with last year. I mean, I know that the Kings are from a record standpoint, I think they're in a better position or very similar position to last year, but the point differential is just a little alarming. So, but hand it to the guys that finished the game last night for sure.
I want to ask you about the point differential thing for the Kings, because I brought this up earlier in the show, Frankie, and I don't know what the answer is, but I'm with you. I mean, to me, the most alarming thing is half of their losses, they haven't really had a chance to win. And you're going to lose, but okay, did you get at the buzzer, or was it a 2-possession game with 2 minutes to go and you just didn't execute? Okay, boom, you lose. Those things do happen. But, and I'm looking at your tweet yesterday, 7 of their 14 losses have been with 15-plus points. 17, 18, 20, 25, 25, 33, and 36 are these losses. And many other games where they're down just as much like that and maybe trim it a little bit at the end. To me, I don't know what the fix is, the way the roster is constructed, even if you make a move. I mean, I think, Frankie, a lot of people logically go, they need more length on the perimeter, more perimeter defense. But maybe that gives up less points. But some of the nights like yesterday where they can't score on these teams that are long and athletic, I don't know where the quick, easy fix is to trim some of these large margin losses for the Kings.
Yeah, and that's the very frustrating part. I completely agree. I think if they go and make a move that upgrades their defense, I mean, sure, I think it's going to help in the long run, absolutely. But I think that one player in a group of 15 is not going to make that much of a complete turnaround. I mean, it's an internal thing. I think that this group needs to really dig deep in games like these and find ways to stop runs. And I think obviously the Kings we've seen are a team that struggle against like the Minnesotas, the New Orleans, the Bostons. They play Milwaukee and Philadelphia this week, where they play teams with in excess of wings and bigs that make you uncomfortable. The Kings really struggle against teams like that. And I think it's just a matter of personnel, and can you plug in other guys like Kessler Edwards and Sasha Vezenkov? Sure. I mean, they could give it a shot. They can try to go back to some of these guys and see if they can find something different. But it really is just a matter of the whole group. They can't find a way to stop these runs. And, 5 leads turn to 10, 10 turn to 15. These things happen so quick. Even if the Kings call timeout, they come back out with the same energy. And that's the problem. There was a complete lack of energy last night. And I think Keon said it as well, that there was just no sense of urgency when things were getting tough. And that's what we've seen every time. These leads just never get closer. They just get worse and worse. And it's not something that we are familiar to seeing since the beginning of last year. The Kings falling down by 30 plus, certainly not 50 plus. That goes back to, I think that game in Boston, which was one of the worst games I think a lot of us have ever seen. The Kings trailing by, I think, as much as 60 points. It just really it doesn't look like this is the Sacramento Kings team that we all know from last year. And that's the problem.
Frankie Cardicelli joining us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Frankie, from what you saw yesterday, obviously he had a really bad game, but is De'Aaron Fox physically okay?
He does seem like he's obviously going through the bumps and bruises of the season, and he told us the other night that it's just the way that every year goes, and he's brushing it off like it's nothing much. Mike Brown also said it's news to him if he's hurt. He said he's fine, and Mike Brown believes he's fine. I think that training staff would be reluctant to let him go out there if he was battling something. But I think just right now the Kings are playing a lot of games in a short period of time, and that might come back to the schedule and how many games that the NBA tried to cram into this period of time, obviously, instead of late in the season. Because late in the season from a calendar standpoint, I mean, obviously 82 is 82, but they play 4 games over the next 7 days, I think, on this road trip. And that's just going to be tough, the back-to-back. And in Detroit and Charlotte, which again, I think it goes without saying, but they should probably take care of those games if that's going to alleviate any of these concerns. You want to beat Detroit, who I think Cade Cunningham exited last night's game. We'll see if he's available tomorrow. Then you have Charlotte, who the Kings laid an egg in against last week at home. That was maybe their worst loss of the season until last night. So I don't know if that's going to be a chance for the Kings look at that and say, okay, if De'Aaron's battling a few things, maybe it's an opportunity for him to get off his feet, at least in one of those games in the back-to-back. That wouldn't surprise me. That's what some of these games are for. If you're a team that the Kings should believe they are, that you should be able to take care of business in some of these games, but they haven't proven that they can. So that's where the problem comes into play. Like, the Kings should be able to have a couple guys like De'Aaron get off their feet, and people that are definitely battling some minor things, but are they in a position to? They need to take care of these games. Their schedule, their strength of schedule, the way that the Kings have, I think they were 15th in strength of schedule 2 weeks ago. They're now up to 7th or 8th in the West. So you have to take care of games like these. You have to take care of business. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a spot for Fox to get off his feet or not, but I do think he's able to play. I think we've seen, obviously, De'Aaron Fox is human. Last night, the Pelicans really took away middle. They did not let him get into the paint The shots he did take in the paint wasn't able to knock down, but I have no doubt he'll bounce back. It's just that he's got to get through this little stretch where he's battling a couple things.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, too, how they combat the teams. Not everybody's built like New Orleans. New Orleans, obviously, is the Kings' kryptonite to their credit. I mean, they're 4-0 against Sacramento and really have totally controlled those games. But I'm looking at the wins recently, 123 on the Grizzlies, 138 on the Magic, 135 on the Raptors, shooting 50%, sharing it for 30-plus assists, hitting threes. In their losses here lately, Pelicans, they scored 100, 104 to the Hornets, 98 to the T-Wolves. How do they win the games, Frankie, when the offense isn't kind of easy for them?
I mean, it has to come on the defensive end. I mean, you have to pick up stops. And I think that one thing even we saw against the Magic, a game the Kings won, they were not able to string together consistent stops. It really was just a shootout. And you see it in the final score as well. But you have to be able to slow down teams and really pick up a stop when you need to stop these runs. And they are not able to stop the run right now. That, to me, is the biggest concern, is seeing the Kings just get on these events where they go on, I don't know, obviously scoring droughts. I mean, the Kings started off a little cold last night. But I think it comes to the beginning of games. See, the Kings are really, really horrible, I think, in opening games. I think the second quarter is statistically one of the worst quarters from any team in the league right now. I can't remember what the updated numbers are, but their point differential in the second quarter, I believe, was in like -7 or 8 or 9. It's not great for the whole year. They fall behind early, and they're not able to stop these runs. So that's what I'm looking at. How can you do that? Again, it comes down to the personnel. Can you plug in the right guys that can get you in a good spot early, and so you're not having to claw your way back in all these games? Because we see that more times than not. The Kings are falling behind, and in these games that they do lose by a lot, the whole entire story of the second half is maybe they can cut it to 15. That's just a horrible spot to be in.
Absolutely. So we're talking with Frankie Cardicelli, our Sactown Sports Kings insider, one of our two, and one of the other ones obviously is Brendan Nunez. I was with Brendan on Friday, Frankie, and that was kind of on the before the Friday afternoon rumor swirl started happening with the Kings and the Toronto Raptors. Made some sense with the Raptors being here. We're hearing the Kings, according to reports, be willing to offer up a few guys. Raptors seemingly not interested in that for any kind of deal with Siakam. Then the Kings, come out, or it's publicly known that the Kings are out of talks. What did you just kind of make of that whole Friday song and dance with the Raptors in town?
I mean, I think we all know how tricky and obviously I guess frustrating on that end too, that rumor season and trade season can be. And I think we're seeing a lot of negotiating through the media the other day. I think that just was such a funny series of events. How, it was like we all get to the arena and the chatter is at its peak. Shams Charania from The Athletic is saying, and obviously when Shams or Adrian Wojnarowski talk, everybody listens because those are the guys that get the biggest scoops. And it just was a very, very quick turnaround from the Kings are very, very their interest has intensified to the other out for now. I think that was a matter of Toronto looking for the right deal and trying to get to a right spot. And I think Golden State, obviously, they've shown interest. They are reluctant to give up Jonathan Kuminga right now, who is now reemerging in that rotation for Steve Kerr. I think it comes back to Keegan. As far as Toronto is still trying to maximize a guy that they won a championship with in Pascal Siakam, somebody who's been an all-NBA player for them. And I think that in their mind, they deserve a lot for this guy. But the Kings right now are in no position to leverage their future on a guy that's not under contract for next year. And that's the biggest thing. Will Pascal Siakam really re-up with the Kings? And that's concerning, I guess, in a couple areas. Like, is he the guy? You have to be sure. Is he the guy that is going to steer this team towards what you hope is NBA Finals contention, the next step? Is he that big third piece? Because he's looking for $40 million a year. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I think that in Toronto, a report out of Toronto yesterday, I can't remember. I think it was SN Network reported that he is looking for the max contract, and Sacramento doesn't have an interest in giving him that. And we weren't able to confirm that if that's the reason why the Kings aren't considering to push for him right now. But I think that obviously no door is fully closed for Monte McNair, and prices drop. Like as time goes on, Alex Caruso, could that price drop? Will the Kings re-engage on Zach LaVine? That's a question I think that I'm looking forward to seeing will be answered. They seem like they had a really high interest in Zach LaVine to fit with his offense. But I think with the Siakam talks, it's just going to be a matter of that's the first of many rumors we're probably going to see. Probably not out of Sacramento's end because they're very, very tight-lipped. I mean, that's why that rumor from the beginning, I think a lot of people thought there was some smoke to it because this front office really doesn't have many leaks. I mean, when they made moves last year, and they didn't make many, sure, but they just happened. I mean, there was no rumors, there was no leaks. It's just very, very, very tight quarters over there. But I think when it comes to making a big move, you have to be sure. If you're going to leverage the future, whether it be by future draft capital, and I don't think the Kings are going to include Keegan Murray, so I don't really view that as a possibility. But if you're making a move like that, kind of cashing the chips, it has to be right. And maybe the Kings aren't sure if Pascal Siakam is that guy, because I'm sure not. I think that the Kings are better suited to wait for that right player. And obviously, when it comes to this season, you want to maximize this year. But if Monty McNair and the front office believes that trading multiple pieces from this rotation and a first round pick or what have you for a guy that is going to be heading to free agency in a couple months, if he doesn't think that's worth it, then I think that's something that I'll trust for sure from a guy that just won Executive of the Year.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just trying to hear through your answer what your guess would be. I guess we're a month away, Frankie, from the official deadline, but you think the Kings kind of do something smaller around the edges, or do you think they'll be compelled to do something bigger?
Right now, I'm in the camp of around the edges, and I know it's not the sexiest answer. I think if people want that star that's going to come in and join De'Aaron and Sabonis, I feel like that's going to happen. I just feel like maybe right now the crop of guys that are available, the Levines and the Siakams, obviously OG Anunoby already on the move. I just don't know if that's maybe the right move for the Kings in the long term. Like maybe there's someone out there that could become available this summer or further down the line. I mean, again, the Kings, they have the pressing contract at hand right now is Malik Monk, and they have to try to decide how they're going to retain him this offseason. That's the guy. De'Aaron Fox is under contract. Domantas Sabonis under contract. Sure, you want to maximize the prime of these guys' careers, but if they have to give up multiple firsts for Zach LaVine or for Pascal Siakam, or even a first for Alex Caruso, who I think is a good player and would really help the Kings, I don't know if you want to do that. I think you kind of want to hold those close to the chest and then use them for a bigger deal down the line, someone that you really, really want that maybe has more years in their contract or to be open to signing a long-term extension. Because I think that there are guys out there. I think that we've seen it before. Zach LaVine is the whole reason why this rumor or report was out there. Is he's told people close to him that he would play for the Kings, and that's obviously gotten out. He's in Bradley Beal in the offseason. The Kings were one of the teams he said he was interested in approving the no trade clause to go play for the Kings. He was interested in coming and playing out here after what happened last year. I think a lot of people took notice in how the Kings have played basketball over the past year. And it's not the same thing anymore. I think that while they can't go out and acquire the top free agent on the market, I think they can acquire certainly more free agent talent or maybe have more guys come over here via trade and be open to staying here. We've seen that happen before. Domantas Sabonis signed an extension once he got here. Rudy Gay, if you want to go further back, he signed an extension once he was traded here. It's happened before. So I would say for now, though, look at the guys like the Carusos. I'm looking at someone like Malcolm Brogdon. Well, what is Portland's plans for him? And those aren't answers that address the Kings' defensive problems, especially in the interior. I fully understand that. They definitely have to plug those holes at some point, but I'm not sure if Siakam's the guy the Kings want to empty the bank for.
Frankie, last thing for you. I know it became kind of a thing with the media yesterday, and I totally understand it. Different things get attention, but here locally, the Kings get embarrassed, terrible loss. Generally, the way it works is Mike Brown will talk, and then two players will come out. The Kings supplied one player. It was Keon Ellis. No slam on him, but that's a guy that played at the end of the game and isn't a big reason why they were down by 50 points. He has to speak for Fox, Sabonis, Murray, Barnes, pick your king. That seemed to be a point of contention. You were in the media room yesterday, and Mike Brown got asked the question. I felt badly for Coach because I don't even know how much control he has over that. But what was that whole scenario like to kind of witness it in real time there?
I mean, I think that it's something that we have seen definitely more tthan once, and I think it's something that, in my mind, is unacceptable. Just as far as, and again, this is definitely it's not on. Keon, I think, was a player that was again in the game late, and I think it's easy to go tap Keon and say, "Hey, it's time to go talk to the media," especially after a tough game. But I think from a leadership standpoint, and again, I think it's a matter of De'Aaron and Domas weren't told you have to go do media by Kings PR. I think that they should want to, though. I think in a game like that, you should see the biggest stars come to the microphone and try to explain what went wrong. A guy on a two-way contract who's trying to earn his keep in the NBA, I just don't think was the right player to put in that position. And someone who's really put, Keon Ellis has been one of the better stories of his year, and someone who's really tried to again, it's a great story from an undrafted kid who's breaking through at the NBA level right now. It's a very inspiring story. He should have to go out there and explain a loss when the team showed by 50 points, when you have De'Aaron Fox who's struggling. Domantas Sabonis has been playing some incredible basketball. He's someone that the Kings, and I know he spoke in the media after the game, but I think addressing those that came to the game, and obviously, like Mike said, apologizing for just putting your hard-earned money into the game and whatnot. But I think it's something that definitely should get better going forward as far as guys being accountable and wanting to be in that spot. Like, they should want, if leaders of that team, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, they should want to be in that chair after a game like that, explaining what went wrong. They shouldn't leave it on the shoulders of a two-way guy. And I know that's not fully on them. Again, it's on the Kings who they choose to come out and talk. And I know that guys are maybe upset after a game like that. You don't want to bother anybody, but the fans want to hear from the guys that are the leaders of this team. They want to hear from the Malik Monks. They want to hear from Fox, Sabonis, Harrison Barnes. They want to hear from those guys. Keon is not somebody that should have any blame in last night's loss. And I think personally, he's someone that came in late trying to clean up the mess. Like, you should not talk to guys that were coming in trying to clean up. You should talk to the guys that were on the floor when things spiraled out of control and figure out how can you do better. Hear an explanation on their hand of what they can do better personally. So I think it's just a matter of picking and choosing the right guys after games, and maybe it's uncomfortable in some situations, but the fans want to hear from those guys, and that's something I think that has to get better going forward. And while it definitely shouldn't have been on Mike to answer the question, I think Mike did a very good job of handling it. And I also do agree that the question should have been asked to begin with, because I think a little pressure is needed in a situation like that, because it's happened a couple more times than it should have, in my opinion. And I think it's something that definitely will improve going forward. I have no doubt there'll be progress on that end, on both ends. And I think that when the Kings have another uncomfortable game, we'll hear from guys like Fox and Sabonis, because that's the way it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. They're out there. That's the leadership core of that group. Well, Frankie, we appreciate it. We hope times are better for the Kings with this road trip coming up. 10 of 12 will be 12 of 14 on the road coming up for Sacramento. So busy time away. We'll continue to read your work on Sactown Sports, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
Yeah, on the road, I guess. It was that was long. They played 13 of 15 at home, and now they're playing 12. Yeah, so I guess it does balance out. It's felt like a lot of home games, but I have no doubt we'll be back here pretty soon and back at it. But thanks a lot, Jason. Appreciate it, my friend.
All right, thank you. That is Frankie Cardicelli joining us there on the phone lines there on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Some news here while we were talking from Adam Schefter. The Commanders have requested permission to interview 49ers assistant GM Adam Peters for their general manager job. All right, well, those things are keep moving. We're going to keep moving as well. Let's go back to the phone lines at 916-339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140 and welcome in Ryan. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Hey, we're talking a lot about changes to this team, the exterior, bringing in somebody new. And in this situation, a team's either usually trying to put a Band-Aid on a problem or make that push to get to that next level. And I feel like Sacramento is in neither place. And I think it's one of those things, Jason, where the fans have seen enough losing basketball here in Sacramento to where we know something's missing from this team that wasn't there last year. And we've got to start digging into what exactly that is, whether it's coaching, whether it's leadership, because you can bring in any player in the league. This team could still have the same problems when you're scoring less than 20 points in losses.
Yeah, and I think, and we're losing you a little bit at the end there, Ryan. Appreciate the call. I'm trying to figure out what the biggest difference between last year and this year is. I mean, again, if we're just doing record, it's better this year. Now, it's marginally better, and the Kings actually got a lot better from All-Star break on, and I guess that's still possibilities here. I think what was unique to the Kings last year is they were so good offensively. I don't know that their numbers are that much worse. It's the rest of the league has really picked up their pace and picked up the scoring. It's up everywhere. And the Kings are now 8th offensively. That's good, right? Top 10 and anything is good, but it's not the best. It's not unique. It's not something that made them special. And so I think more nights than not last year, offensively, they would win games. And we were frustrated with them defensively. Remember how bad they were defensively? I think defensively at times this year they're better. I do. I think you've seen it. It's not anywhere consistent. But I think where their trouble spot is this year, Ryan, is that if it's not that smooth flowing offense, people knocking down threes, Sabonis playing bully ball, Fox getting to where he wants, and then you're getting help from Lyles or Monk or Herder or someone else, Keegan, like you get 2 to 3 others playing well, it's a good night. Kings are likely going to win that night. If the offense is taken away and really off rhythm, like last night. Now, last night's an extreme case on the other end, but that's not a one-time thing. That's happened many times. Let's take the Charlotte game where they were in mud all game long, just terrible, and didn't play smart. It wasn't smooth for them offensively. They lost that game. So I think we just try to lump things into one big thing like, well, they didn't do this last year. They did. They did it some. They're doing it, I would say, at a higher volume this year. But with that said, they have more wins. That's why this year has been as much of a puzzle. And I don't think they're one player away to fix things. Now, it might fix some of their issues, but not all of them. And let me see if I could find the best stretch of basketball this year for the Kings. There, wasn't that long ago they'd won. Well, I mean, there's no real bad loss stretches. They had when they were 2-4, they went 8-4. So they won 6 in a row, beating Portland, OKC, Cleveland, LA, San Antonio, Dallas. What were they doing better then? I'm looking at point totals: 121, 132, 125, 129, 129. Scoring, easy, flow. The lowest scoring game in that stretch, they beat OKC 105-98, and that was without De'Aaron Fox. That was actually a really good win. Some of their losing stretches when they lost the 3 in a row early in the year: 101, 89, 97 points. Losing both games to New Orleans earlier, 93 and 112. Losing to the Clippers, 99. Losing to Minnesota, 98 points. Losing to Charlotte, 104. Yesterday, with a 39-point fourth quarter, they got to 100. To me, as much as we can look at their defense, and we should, about helping, and I think their offense was special last year. It's good this year. Others are better. And I think that's where you could lean into that. Do you get even better offensively? Is that the fix? Try to get back to that mode where you go, look, you're not ignoring defense. I'm not saying that. But what do you think they have a better chance to turn the season around? Get better on the margins defensively or get better on the margins offensively? They're already pretty good offensively. What if you moved up 3 spots, 5 spots to get a top 3 offense versus 3 to 5 spots defensively and move into the 20s, low 20s in defense? I don't know the answer. I'm kind of asking it rhetorically. What would help this team more? All right, break time for us still to come. Niners at 9. Matt Barrows joins us from The Athletic. We've got who's hot, who's not. We'll recap our predictions going into the weekend. And when we come back, 4 down territory, more NFL discussion, much more on the Kings. All that as we continue here on a Monday on Sactown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a 2-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
It's time to buck up, Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. Get your tickets for a weekend of non-stop bucking action this February 2nd through 4th.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown!
CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Carmichael Dave here to talk to you about my good friends at Fire Wings. There is no doubt they have the best wings in town. Try any of their 21 delicious flavors. Flavors like their award-winning peanut butter, Louisiana rub, Thai chili, and my favorite, the breaded Malaysian curry wing, and so many more. They're the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family and also a great place to enjoy all the college and pro basketball games from around the country. Now tell me something. What's better than enjoying the best wings in town while watching your favorite teams play ball? I can think of absolutely nothing. So just go to firewings.com, find that location nearest you, whether it's my home store in Antelope, Delta Shore, Howe Avenue, and so many more. Order online, and when you get there, don't forget to tell them that your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you. Hey, it's Fire Wings, locally owned, locally operated. Don't forget, just wing it.
Start your 2024 grilling season right with a new lifetime warranty Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. The Napoleon P500 series gas grill will turn you into a grilling pro. Napoleon Prestige grills, versatile grilling for every occasion. Form, function, and luxury can come in the same package. Just go to your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply for the best selection today, or visit Napoleon.com for a dealer near you. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Get a great deal on your new Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Superstore.
Great selection, great factory financing and incentive.
And great Maida Chevy savings on every new Silverado in stock.
Online at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Discover Timber Creek Ballroom, a hidden gem in West Roseville, boasting an 18-hole golf course and the perfect event venue. Whether you're planning a wedding, a corporate event, or any special occasion, Timber Creek Ballroom offers natural beauty, elegant spaces, and affordability, with room for 50 to 300 guests, indoors or outdoors. Timber Creek Ballroom has the perfect spot for your event. Visit timbercreekballroom.com for details. Excellent meets affordability at Timber Creek Ballroom, where your extraordinary events come to life.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
They bleed black and purple. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on your local sports leader, Sactown Sports.
Carmichael Dave back with us next week. Jason Ross, Christopher Ladd here. We'll take you to Styles and Watkins. They'll be in for a little crosstalk and celebrity birthdays at the end of the show. Still to come at 9, Matt Barrows from The Athletic. We got 4 down territory in a moment. Let's check in with AC first here on the phone lines. Good morning, AC.
Hey, Jason. I am impressed that you guys go to work every day, even after a horrible Kings loss.
Got to do it. Yeah, got to do it. We prefer the alternative, but you know what? We're here.
So I didn't think that the Charlotte game could get worse. But yesterday, I never do this. I turned off the game at the start of almost the end of the third quarter. It's like there's 40 points down. There's no way we're coming back. And even if we did, I'm disgusted, right? You could tell everybody is going through the motions. And let's face it, there's human nature involved here. But they're getting ready to go on a road trip. And Sunday afternoon games are a nightmare for the Kings. We historically play horrible on Sunday matinees, during the afternoon. So anyway, that was just a horrible game, and I'd love to chalk it up to, a one-game scenario, but
it's not.
This is going to sound crazy, but we have a lot of extra wood. Let's just call it. We don't want to call it dead wood. That's too mean, but we have a lot of extra wood on the roster. I mean, Sasha, I love the guy. I love the potential of the guy, but when you come in and you have limited minutes, you pretty much need to make every single three-pointer you throw up.
Yeah.
And he's just wasting time on our bench. We need to engineer a trade with some people and get some pieces in here. And I don't think you can take a roster of people that don't want to play defense and then all of a sudden make them play defense by bringing another person. I mean, it could work, but I'm skeptical. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt. I don't doubt your or question your skepticism. Thank you, AC. Yeah, I mean, again, it's. I keep saying the same thing, but it's a roster that has flaws, but it's not broken and busted, and you just go, this team's a joke. They were a joke yesterday, and they have had that too many times for probably anybody's liking. But again, I'm going to go to Friday, and I'm not trying to paint this as a better picture, but I'm trying to tell you the difficult nature it's got to be for this organization. So, and I'm going to just keep saying it this way, when they play in their style, in their form, free-flowing, moving, sharing the ball, hitting threes, getting downhill, creating the space, paint touches, deflections enough, rebounding well, getting a few key stops. That's a good version of the Kings. That version's been around. It's shown us. We've seen it. But when some of that is taken away, I don't think they're very good at handling being off their time. Like you'll hear this in football, saying in football a lot is when you're ahead of the down and distance, if on first down you get 7 yards, 2nd and 3 is just an appealing situation to be in. You've got control of things. You've already shown that you've established things on first down. So that's like the equivalent. When the Kings are off their timing, a day like yesterday would have felt like they're in 1st and 20 if you're doing the football analogy, probably 1st and 30, back-to-back penalties, and you're just going the wrong way. And then you run and you get no yards. Oh, great. 2nd and 30. The other team is just feasting on it. And New Orleans smelled blood and just ran them out of the building. So it doesn't happen every night. It's happened too much. But they haven't figured out, this group, whether it's the coaches, the players, the personnel that they haven't been able to figure out when it starts to go bad, why it goes so poorly. Again, there's a difference between runs in a game and getting completely worked. And for that example, yesterday, the Kings were getting outplayed in the first half. It was pretty clear. But there's no reason that game needed to be as large of a deficit at halftime. If that deficit was 14, you're not happy, but you're like, all right, not a good half. New Orleans played well. Go to work. See what you can do to start trimming this deficit. Instead, it was north of 20, almost 30 at the half, and it's basically over. And the first couple of timeouts are taken by the Kings in the third because it goes north of 30. It ultimately went north of 40 and got to 50 points. They can't figure out how to get out of those awful ruts that they get into. And they've happened too many times. 14 losses this year. Half of them have been by 15 points or more. All right, let's do it. We've only got a few moments here. I want to get 4 down territory, 4 thoughts, 4 questions on the NFL. So, Chris, let's fire it up with 4 down territory. All right, what do you got on first down for us, Chris?
Which team had the best Week 18 in the NFL?
I'm going to go back to Saturday. I think it's Pittsburgh. In the combo of Saturday and Sunday, Pittsburgh found a way to beat the top seed Ravens, their rival. Played a really good game. Najee Harris was good. It was kind of the grind, physical game in the rain and the slosh. They had to win. They did. And then they needed help, and they got it. So Pittsburgh, a few weeks ago, was coming off a couple of hideous losses in a row. But now they win at the end. Tomlin, another winning season, 10-7. They're back in the postseason. And with Mason Rudolph playing much better, I don't know, Pittsburgh might not be the team that Buffalo's looking forward to seeing this weekend. So anyway, I think Pittsburgh had the best Week 18. All right, second down.
Which team had the worst Week 18 in the NFL?
Well, same idea. Pittsburgh needed help. They got the help, and it came from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So let's put Jacksonville as the team that had the worst week. They had the best odds to win the division, and they were playing a Titan team that only had 5 wins coming in. And Jacksonville was either a turnover machine, trailed most of that game, tried to come back, but had a bad day. Trevor Lawrence threw a couple of picks. They had too many mistakes, couldn't stop Derrick Henry. Jacksonville lost, and they got eliminated from the postseason. I think they had the worst Week 18. All right, third down.
Which individual had the best Week 18 in the NFL?
You know, the last week of the year is weird because not everybody's playing, but you get different guys with an opportunity. He's still the primary player and primary rusher on this team. But Breece Hall had a great day yesterday in the snow in New England. His final numbers, 37 carries, 178 yards, and a touchdown. I think it was Ezekiel Elliott. I saw the quote from him yesterday. He goes, I always wanted to play in a snow game. Then he played in the snow game. He goes, yeah, it kind of sucks. That's how it looks. Like, I like watching those because I'm sitting in, 70-degree home, 75 degrees, and you're comfortable on a couch. But being in that game looked miserable. Breece Hall played through it. 37 for 178 and a score. I'll give him the guy with the best week. All right, fourth down.
Which individual had the worst Week 18 in the NFL?
Well, I'm not going to a player. I'm going to a coach, and it has to be Arthur Smith. They gave up the late touchdown to the Saints. It didn't matter in the impact of the game. It was 41-17 at the time. It ended up being 48-17. You could see him visibly upset with Dennis Allen. And, you know, the old saying is like, well, if you're bothered, stop him. At that point, I don't think the Saints should have did what they did. But Arthur Smith not only had a bad day, could have won the division. They went 7-10, lost the game 2-7 on the road. They didn't even wait until today. That's usually when firings happen. They fired him yesterday. So Arthur Smith is out, opening for Atlanta. We know the Commanders have fired Ron Rivera. We're still waiting to see what's going to go on with Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. But, yeah, I would say Arthur Smith certainly had the worst Week 18. All right, but who's hot, who's not? We'll recap our predictions for the Kings and Raptors and the 49ers and Rams and Pick Six and 3 in the key. We'll do that when we come back on Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
I tried to quit smoking cigarettes probably hundreds of times over the years. 2 or 3 days into quitting again, I go get into a vehicle, and guess what? There's a pack of cigarettes in there. I mean, I've got the unlit cigarette in my hand. And I said to myself, why do I even try to quit if I'm going to cave so easily every time? Something clicked in my head that told me I can do this.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Uma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Uma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Don't miss out on New Year's savings at Folsom Lake Kia. Low prices and payments on your favorite new Kia models. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia, right here in Sacramento for over 25 years, or FolsomLakeKia.com.
There are many things to love about winter. Cozy sweaters, celebrations, and family time. But winter can also bring many stressors. Extra expenses, seasonal bugs, and so much family time. If you and your loved ones are feeling stressed or anxious this winter, Cal Hope can help. Check out our free mental health resources at calhope.org today.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot. And what's not?
It's not good. Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
Christopher Law, 2 questions for you. The first one, who's hot? Besides that music.
The New Orleans Pelicans.
The Pelicans?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Specifically when they play the Sacramento Kings.
Explain.
Well, they won 133-100 yesterday. They have been averaging 126.5 points a game against the Kings and have won by an average of 21 points a game.
Yeah, but they were up by 50 and they only won by 33. They should be ashamed of that.
Yeah, they should. I'm sure they're feeling real bad.
How would you feel if April 11th, the Pelicans beat the Kings again to go 5-0, and then a couple days later we find out that the Kings and Pelicans are meeting in the 4-5 matchup?
I would feel worse if the Pelicans let the Kings win because that put them in a position to
They're
play.
like, yeah, let's tank. Everybody sits, and the Kings struggle to beat them, but yet they still face the Pelicans. What if the Kings would try to combat that with losing on purpose so they could avoid the Pelicans?
What if both teams went in there looking to lose?
Yes. Yeah.
A la Sergeant Bilko.
Yeah. A la. So that's who's hot. Who's not?
That would be Damian Lillard.
Really?
Yeah.
What's up with Dame?
Last 4 games with the Bucks are 1-3 in those games. Damian Lillard has a 34% field goal percentage, and he has a 16% 3-point percentage. He is only shooting 5 of 31 from behind the arc.
What will he shoot Sunday against the Kings?
He'll probably be like 6 of 9.
Yeah. That team, talk about kryptonite. Man, I don't know the last time the Kings beat the Milwaukee Bucks. It's been a long time. They will face in the road trip is Detroit, Charlotte, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Phoenix. You come home for Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers, Atlanta, then go back on the road for a season-long Golden State, Dallas, Memphis, Miami, Indiana, Chicago, Cleveland. Man, 12 of the next 14 on the road. We'll do a recap here in a moment of our predictions going into the weekend. But Bobby's dialing in. Good morning, Bobby. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. What's on your mind?
I was just, watching that game last night, and finish it is because my little 6-year-old son's such a diehard. I mean, we're both diehards, but he's such a loyal fan. He's like, Dad, we can't turn the game off. So I'm like, okay. So I got to go with Carmichael Dave's kind of point of view here, and just I say we got to lower our expectations a bit. We're doing this to ourselves. Like, guys, this is not a title contending team. They are nowhere near that yet. Like, it's shown itself. I was reading a stat this morning that made me a little depressed. It was like 7 or 8 of our losses are by more than 17 points. That is not good. And it's just a bad routine to get into, guys, right? Like, I feel like we put so much expectation on them that, you know, at best, I hope they get the 4 seed. That'd be great to get home court again, but they're just not a title contender yet.
Well, let me ask you this, Bobby. What are your expectations, though?
Like I said, shouldn't we go with like a 4 or 5 seed and hopefully 48-50 wins? Because like at this point, everyone, like, it's just not. It's too much on Fox and Sabonis. Keegan's he's not worth. We got to give him a chance, obviously, because let's see what we can get next year.
Yeah.
I know that's not sexy, but it's probably smarter. But hey, I appreciate you guys. You do a heck of a job. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, I'm glad you got you stayed with the game, and so did your son. Sounds like your young one talked you into sticking around for that one. Yeah, I mean, you know what's interesting is this might be an interesting poll to just put out there, or just through our YouTube, our chatters, those of you on a text line. Just a quick thought: like, who if we said today, and we know this stuff changes, but who do you put in the group of teams that could win the title right now? I'll do mine. Just I feel like Boston. That's an easy one. I think Milwaukee can. I guess if everything goes right for them. That feels like it's it for me in the East to win the whole thing. And sure, maybe Philly would say differently, or Cleveland, Indiana, Orlando, whoever. And in the West, I'm really eyeing Denver, one, because we've seen it. But I mean, can OKC do it? Can Minnesota do it? Dallas? Clippers? Clippers, I feel like can actually, believe it or not. I don't know that their list is very long. So, I mean, I guess I think the organization is striving to get there. They're not there now. We know that. They haven't even won a playoff series. And sometimes you have to take those lumps. It doesn't mean you go from losing the first round in 7 games to figuring it out and getting to the conference finals, though sometimes that happens. That's interesting on expectations of what, like, you know, in the end, we said this, they may be a better team than a year ago, but win less games. Well, they might actually win more games, but be a worse team. Is that possible? I guess it could be. It'd be interesting on other people's expectations. All right, we got to recap what we did on our predictions going into the weekend. So, Chris, let's do it. Let's recap first our 3 in the key for the Kings and the Raptors game, which obviously was more tolerable of the weekend games. That was a win. Kings looked good, scoring 135, though they almost gave up the big lead in that game. They won 135-130. So we had 3 predictions and 3 in the key. We asked on Friday because Malik Monk was coming off just an amazing game against the Magic. So we asked for points for Malik Monk. Chris, you said 22. I said 17. He had 15. De'Aaron Fox was coming off a pretty good stat line. No, this was a game he wasn't actually against Orlando. Kings won without De'Aaron being great. So we want to see what his stat line would be: points, rebounds, assists. I said 33, 4, and 7. Chris, you said 27, 4, and 6. He ended with 24, 2, and 4. Looks like you were closer on that one. Though Fox yesterday, made his first shot, and that was it, 3 points. We asked for a random stat for that game. I said the Kings will shoot better than 80% from the line. What was I thinking? I think they missed their first 5 or 4. They went 10 of 15, 67%. Chris, you said Keegan Murray would light the beam. He easily could have been the candidate. It was De'Aaron Fox.
It's just haters.
Yeah, exactly. They heard earlier, like, we want it to be Keegan, but we don't want Chris to be
I
right.
know that Scott isn't a fan.
Yes. All right, so there you go. That was our recap of our 3 in the key. We'll have another one tomorrow. We got to transition, though, from that to our pick 6. How do we do on our Niners-Rams predictions in pick 6? We asked who would be the first 49er to score. We both were stubborn. Usually I pick CMC. He wasn't playing, so I picked Elijah Mitchell. Chris, you were going to pick Mitchell, but you switched to Moody. And I'll give you partial credit because it was Mitchell. I know you wanted to pick Mitchell. We asked for Sam Darnold's passing yards versus Carson Wentz passing yards. I said 261 for Darnold, 199 for Wentz. Chris, you said 215 for Darnold, 170 for Wentz. And the final numbers there, both were under 200. 189 for Darnold, 163 for Wentz. You were closer on that one. Halftime score, I said 13-7 San Francisco. You said 7-6. I'll make it 9-6 San Francisco, excuse me. And it was 20-7 San Francisco. Longest play from scrimmage, you said it would be 21. I said 44. It was 48. The final score, I had 20-16 49ers. You had 23-13 49ers. It was 21-20 Rams. And the random stat, I said the 49ers would block a punt. They did not. Chris, you said Jake Moody would have his most field goals in a game. He missed one and missed an extra point. That'll be a point of conversation coming up with Matt Barrows. So we'll have another chance in a week or so on our pick six for the 49ers. All right, let's go to Ken up next before we break. Good morning, Ken. What's up?
Good morning, guys. Listen, I agree. I think the Kings are the most disrespected good team in basketball, and this is what I mean. I think weak teams like Portland and Charlotte, they come into the game feeling like, when we play Sacramento, we can get the win. When you see these teams play against Sacramento, they play harder than they do against, say, a Milwaukee or somebody like that they figure they can beat or they cannot get a win against. The Kings get no scoring from their two guard. The position is horrible for them. They don't get consistent scoring from Keegan Murray. They don't get consistent scoring from Harrison Barnes. And until they do, they cannot take the next step. They cannot stop anybody. They can't get a stop to save their lives when they need one. There's only one way they win, and that is when everything is going well.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I saw 3 possessions where they shot threes. There's nobody beneath the rim, the offensive rebound the ball. And that's why at one point, New Orleans had a plus 20 rebound advantage. Until you change those things, this team is not going to be any kind of contender.
Yeah, I think, and thank you, Ken. You know, it's interesting you brought up the rebounding. I had omitted that so far, and I apologize for that. Yeah, Ken is right. The rebounding was so bad. Amongst all the things that were bad in the game yesterday, rebounding was absolutely unacceptable. The Kings nearly had the franchise record for fewest rebounds in a half and had a season low by far rebounds in a game and almost had the franchise record for fewest rebounds in a game with the best rebounder in the league in Domantas Sabonis. Now, he got double figures, but he had zero help on the glass. So when the Kings, the other thing that was to me was G-Man every game before the game, he interviews an opposing assistant coach. And yesterday was Jay Triano. And obviously it's been listed already. You've lost 3 times before the game to New Orleans. They give you all sorts of trouble. How do you beat the New Orleans Pelicans? And he was like, pace, pace, pace. We got to get in the fast break. If we're not in the fast break, they set their defense. That's when they're good. You know how many points the Kings had in fast break points in the first quarter? 0. How about in the second quarter? 0. How about in the third quarter? 0. They ended with 6 at the end of the game. 6. And it was in that last group when the Pelicans guys were out. If that was the game plan, they failed to execute that as well. So dominated in every aspect of the game yesterday. Now, the good thing of the league, new night tomorrow. You play a team by record, should be a W. What's tomorrow going to put forward for the Kings? Either just another W or a bad loss when you play Detroit. You got to beat the Pistons. No way around it. All right, break time for us. 9 o'clock hour coming up. When we come back, Matt Barrows from The Athletic. We now know the Niners. They're the 1 seed. They're in. They'll watch this week. What did we learn from yesterday? And any concerns about those Moody misses yesterday? We'll ask that to Matt. That is next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back, He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's time to buck up, Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. Get your tickets for a weekend of non-stop bucking action this February 2nd through 4th.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTK-AM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom,
with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
Welcome into the final hour of the Monday show. The playoff teams are in. The NFL 18-week excursion is now done. 49ers lost their finale yesterday. Doesn't really much matter in the grand scheme of things, but to help us talk about that and what's ahead for the 49ers, from The Athletic, your friend and ours, the great Matt Barrows. Matt, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know what the takeaways are from yesterday. I was impressed that the Rams kind of went for two late. That's cool. There's no need for that game to go overtime or a tie. But any takeaways from there? The fact that maybe Moody missed a kick and an extra point? Anything we take from that gives you any concern going into the game in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that is a concern, and we really don't know what Cleveland Farrell's injury is. I talked to him after the game, and he was walking around without a limp, and he was optimistic that he'd be able to play. But players are always optimistic about that, so they're waiting for the sort of the details of what that injury is, and when we get that, we'll know the prognosis. And he's been a 17-game starter for this team. He's the guy that they like to have on base downs. His sack numbers haven't popped out. I think he has 3.5 on the season. But he's been part of that mix. He's been part of that defensive front. So if he were out for the next game, which is either on January 20 or 21, I would imagine it's Chase Young, getting sort of a more meaty role in this defense, which wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, I think he's probably the second most talented defensive end on the team, and the more he plays, the more he gets kind of accustomed to the way they do things here. So, nothing catastrophic, even if it were say a 3 or 4 week injury for Cleveland Farrell. But, you would have wanted to come out of that game with 0 injuries.
Talking with Matt Barrows here. Matt, we know the Niners can play one of 4 teams, I guess, in 2 weeks. Buccaneers, the Eagles, the Packers, or this Rams team again. So I know they sat some players too yesterday, and there's division knowledge. And for the large part of things, I mean, the Niners really have kind of owned the Rams. But if that was a matchup we were to see in a couple of weeks at Levi's again, how confident would you be in the 49ers?
Oh, I'd be confident in the 49ers no matter who shows up here. I would think, though, that the Rams are the team that the 49ers least want to play because of what you just said. I mean, it's not just division familiarity. They run the same system. I mean, so, the fact that, when the 49ers play some of these teams, they're not used to a zone blocking defense. They're not used to all the motions that the 49ers do. The Rams are. I mean, they run that system. And the Rams, you got to give that front office credit. They drafted some really good players this year. And a lot of them were playing late into the game. Puka Nacua, of course, got the record. You saw Byron Young, the defensive end. He played from start to finish. It was one other guy I was sort of impressed by. Kyron Williams, the running back, he didn't play at all, but he had a really good year. So, I mean, these were guys that were very much rookies when the 49ers played the Rams in week 2, and now at the end of the season in week 18, they're veterans now. So, if they came back to Levi's, that would be rookies with a lot of seasoning, shall we say, talented rookies with a lot of experience. So I would think that actually out of all those teams, I mean, maybe it's the Cowboys, maybe it's the Rams, but I would put the Cowboys and Rams 1-2 in teams that the 49ers would probably rather not play in the playoffs.
Yesterday, it made sense why the 49ers didn't play CMC, and we knew that early on, and we knew Purdy was going to be out. How did they decide about Kittle when you could have debated Ayuk or Debo. Those guys played a little bit, but how did they decide on resting Kittle?
I think anybody with even a shadow of an injury didn't play yesterday. I mean, John Feliciano had a back issue during the week, and he practiced. He was questionable for this game. I think in a normal game, certainly a playoff game, Feliciano would have played. George Kittle would have played. Drake Greenlaw would have played. These are all guys that had very minor things. And so, with nothing on the line, the 49ers decided, rather than risk this getting worse and bleeding, not just into, the January, let's say the game's on January 20, that game, but also, Kyle Shanahan wants to practice hard this week. He wants to have 2 really sort of intense practices, and he wants to do the same next week. And I think that was more important to him than this game. So if there was anything that even remotely compromised one of these practices, certainly the first playoff game, the guy didn't play. A lot of guys in their 30s, that seemed to be a trait of the guys who either didn't play at all or played exactly one series. There was only a handful of 30-somethings. Logan Ryan, one of their very few healthy safeties, he was the exception of a 30-something guy that played a full game on Sunday.
Talking with Matt Barrows here from The Athletic on Niners at 9, brought to you by Stockton Honda, Northern California's #1 Honda dealer. So on the CMC, he left the game, a week ago, kind of precautionary there, but he should be 100% good to go, right, in 2 weeks?
Yeah, and in fact, he said, if this were a more meaningful game, he would have been able to play. I talked to him very briefly coming out of the locker room yesterday. He said he's fine. So I think he's going to practice this week. He might be limited or something like that. But next week, when they're really gearing up for whoever their divisional opponent is, he's going to be full go.
How about, the one thing we kind of led into, of yesterday, one missed PAT, one missed field goal by Moody. By and large, I think, Matt, he had a pretty good year. But when you get now, it's like postseason, you just can't afford to have any misses. And that's where Robbie Gould was really good in his tenure with the 49ers. So what are they thinking about Moody? Like I said, by and large, I think had a good year. But as far as certainty with him come postseason time.
Yeah, he made 84% of his field goals. And if you had said that at the beginning of the season, you would have said, a rookie making 84% of his field goals, that's fantastic. They picked the right guy. He just didn't want it to happen in week 18. Plus the extra point, which and the extra point was a more significant miss. It was a bigger miss, and it's the first time he'd done it all season. So it's concerning. And he's had little kind of spates back in the preseason. He got into a little bit of a rut, and to his credit, climbed out of it. And then at midseason, especially that game in Cleveland, he was in a similar rut, and he climbed out of it. So you just don't want him to be in one of those ruts now. Lots of time to get out of it, lots of time to practice. Those guys will go into Levi Stadium and, practice, with that wind. It changes as the year goes on. It seemed like it was more of a crosswind yesterday than it usually is. The stadium is a north and south stadium, just like every other stadium in the NFL is. And that north side is basically against the San Francisco Bay. So usually that wind is sort of coming in off of the bay. So it's coming in from the northwest. Yeah, yesterday it was more of a west wind. So I don't know if that threw him off. I know that the Rams kicker also missed an extra point on the other end. So, it's trickier than you would think in otherwise very mild, South Bay area of San Francisco. So he will have the opportunity to kind of, work inside that stadium and learn the winds and get all that down before they play their first playoff game.
Yeah, they got to wait a couple weeks for that. As we said, they could play the Rams again. They could get a look at the Packers, the Buccaneers, or maybe the Eagles, who are rapidly falling apart. And Matt, I'm thinking, is the fall of the Eagles coinciding with the Greenlaw Dom incident, or when they broke the partition trying to get to you in the press box?
It's all the same thing. It was just bad voodoo for the Eagles that day, for sure. But a lot of people say, the 49ers really sort of marked the fall of the Eagles. It seemed like they were starting to fall before that. Remember, they had a couple of really tight games that they were able to pull out. But it's obvious that the Eagles are struggling right now, and when you go deep into the postseason like they did the year before, that can happen. I mean, look at what happened to the 49ers in 2020 after they lost the Super Bowl. I mean, that was a season marked by injuries, and they were really a shell of themselves, and they didn't pick up again really until sort of mid-season of 2021. So, this has happened before, but I would put the Eagles, the Packers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, you asked about the teams that the 49ers might least want to play. I'd put that trio. Any one of those three would probably be the optimal team to play in the first round.
All right, and then last thing for you, as this time of year, we've seen some firings already in the coaching world. There'll be more probably, and then people need to be hired. The Niners have been on a run of, kind of grooming future head coaches. Congratulations to DeMeco Ryans and what the Texans did. Is Steve Wilks or anyone else from that staff going to be someone that we should be keeping our eye on of people being pursued?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Texans template, you've got 49ers OC, a former 49ers DC defensive coordinator paired with a high-level person in Shanahan's staff. I mean, that seems to be a good duo that other teams could look at. If Steve Wilks came with one of Shanahan's lieutenants, one of the Kubiaks, one guy that doesn't get a lot of attention is Brian Fleury. He's the tight ends coach, but he does a lot of the game planning. I mean, he knows this offense as well as anyone. Trying to replicate that DeMeco Ryans, Bobby Slowick duo that they did in Houston might be something that some of these teams are interested in. I put in a request today to see if anybody's requested interviews with any of the 49ers yet. It wouldn't surprise me if the answer is yes, but it's so fresh that we don't know the answer yet. But it won't be a surprise if one of those guys gets a request. And then Adam Peters at GM would be the other one to keep an eye on. And he turned down requests last year because it seems like he's maybe has a future GM job here in San Francisco. This is where he's from. He's a guy that's born and raised in Cupertino, just down the street from Santa Clara. So he might be content being in the South Bay, but he would be a name that would be talked about for GM role.
Well, something to keep our eye on, certainly in this week where the Niners are off. They'll be doing some watching of the playoffs. Matt, enjoy the playoff weekend ahead, and we will talk to you again next week.
Okay, look forward to it.
All right, thank you. That's the great Matt Barrows joining us there from The Athletic. Check out all this stuff that he's constantly writing about the 49ers on The Athletic. All right, break time for us. As we go to break, want to tell you this is your chance to win tickets to the International Sportsman's Expo. California's largest sports expo is back with hundreds of exhibits, gear, destinations, accessories, and services, plus experts in all things outdoors. This is the place to discover your next adventure nearby or around the world. So call the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now and be lucky caller number 6. Yeah, we'll go with 6. To lock in those family 4-packs of tickets to the California's largest Sportsman Expo only. That's January 18th through the 21st at Cal Expo. For more information, visit SactownSports.com. Again, caller number 6 at 1-800-920-1140. We are back with more straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere.
It's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sactown Sports.
Mike, is Fox feeling okay? This is the third straight game where he struggled shooting, and just yesterday or 2 days ago when he was walking out of here, it just looked like he was just not in pain, but struggling and looking a little tired.
Yeah, from my understanding, he is, but that may be a question that you ask him. But everything seems okay from me with him. You know what I'm saying? He seems like he's okay. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I think he's a gamer. He's going to play. I don't think he's right, but that's, to what effect? He found a way to get 24 points on Friday night. Yesterday, it was work for De'Aaron. And what's funny is in this stretch prior to this, maybe last 2 to 3 games where De'Aaron was just absolutely lighting it up beyond the arc, I was finding myself in that unique spot of loving the fact that De'Aaron and his newfound weapon of being a sniper beyond the arc, but I was also getting a tad bit frustrated, if there's such a thing, at him not going to the basket anymore, because that's his real superpower. He is as quick with the ball as anybody in the league, puts so much pressure on defenses if he can get to the basket. And look, if you're making your threes and you're making, I think it was the, which game was it where he made 8 threes, maybe Atlanta, and 20 of his shots were from, 16 of his 20 were from 3. He took 4 twos. That was amazing. Now he made 8, so he's shooting efficiently and effectively enough beyond the arc, but I didn't want him to get comfortable, and that also made me think, okay, it takes more work, physical work too, to get into the paint, and maybe there is something that's not quite right. But like we always say, if you're out there and you're being paid to play, and you put on a uniform and you play, you get evaluated. And De'Aaron did not play very well yesterday, and whether or not there's an injury there, I commend him if he's not 100% right, which I'm sure that might be the case. But you're also going to get critiqued for not playing well, or in this case, maybe not showing the right leadership. I've heard this said, someone sent me this actually on social media, which I think, we try to grab blanket statements and like just catch all and apply all. Well, the Kings don't have a leader. All right. That's a fair enough statement. I would say Fox and Sabonis are their on-court leaders the most. And I think the follow-up on like the pushback was, well, like LeBron's one of the greatest leaders. He wouldn't let a team lose like this. He wouldn't? He wouldn't. Okay. LeBron's never been blown out. They're not below 500 right now. Like, there's not a catch-all like, hey, if they had this player, this wouldn't happen. Maybe it happens less. You think the players are in there? Nobody's saying, you don't think anybody's talking. Now, we get confused with, and I've seen this a lot, with if there's a coach on the sideline absolutely yelling, that coach is coaching. No, he's yelling. Might be coaching to some extent, but I think those coaches can wear you out a little bit. And if you always have a player that is barking at you, now that's not always how you have to lead. There are different ways to do it, and maybe there's a correction along the way. And sometimes when the correction is made and they win, do we notice that a player said something, that did something? We don't always do it, but they don't get credit for that. So, unless you're on the team and know the true inner workings, it's tough to know. Again, I don't think this team is one catch-all away from fixing all their woes. Let's hear a little bit more from Mike Brown about what they're in that spot now. Look, if they score, if things are pretty, things are easy, it's good. But it's not always like that, like yesterday where they're getting blown out. Here's Brown on trying to outscore teams.
If we think that we should just be an offensive team, and there is some of that thought amongst us, is we should just try to outscore people, you're going to be in for a rude awakening in this league if you don't if you don't find a way to defend and take that end of the floor serious, because you're not going to outscore everybody. The shots aren't going to go in. I mean, we had some pretty good looks from the three-point line at times, and they didn't go in. And that's just that's the game. So you've got to have some fight on the defensive end, and there has to be a focus there for you in order to be able to win a game 104-98 or 103-106, something like that. And today we didn't do any type of job whatsoever on the defense end of the floor.
Coach is right. And if you look back at the schedule this year, let me do a quick survey of wins, if there's anything like that. There's the one I mentioned earlier, OKC 105-98. That's one. The Phoenix, no, I won't give them the 120-105. That's it. Of their 21 wins, I would say they've had one in that realm. One. It's not good. So finding more ways to win. What's their better odds of getting better defensively to win more games like that, or improving on the offensive end to have more games where they just don't get held to 106 and they score 125 and still find a way to win? That to me is what they're looking at. How else can you get better? What kind of trade rumors? What kind of trade can they make? Well, there was more of a follow-up. Remember, we mentioned Friday with the Raptors being here. That's when a lot of the whirlwind started. I think this was today. Shams was on talking about kind of where things are right now with the Raptors and the Sacramento Kings.
I'm told the Raptors and Kings were in active conversations about a Pascal Siakam trade last week. But for the Kings, two factors have been important. One, the timeliness of a deal. They want to get a deal if it were to get done sooner rather than later. They want to get their team as a whole and really build chemistry and build, if Pascal Siakam, they were able to land him. And the other thing is also the framework of a deal. There's a package that they want to give to Toronto potentially, revolving around, I'm told, Harrison Barnes. And they don't want that framework to change. The Raptors have had multiple offers around the league. And from the Kings side, they've had a gaining interest in Siakam. If you can bring him into a big three that has Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, you have Pascal Siakam, you have three guys that have been all-stars. I mean, that's a pretty good big three. But this deal needed to happen quickly. And when it didn't, I'm told Toronto was informed from Sacramento that they are out. They're not involved right now.
Damn.
But these things can be fluid. We're a month out from the trade deadline. At this point, I'm told the only way it really ignites is if Toronto comes back to Sacramento to re-engage. The one thing to remember as well is Pascal Siakam is going to be a free agent in the offseason, and unless he signs an extension with the Raptors. And his free agency, will he re-sign with that team? Will he commit to a team long-term when he's traded, like a team like Sacramento or wherever?
Yeah.
Dallas, Atlanta, Indiana, all teams interested in Pascal Siakam. But if you're going to trade for a guy like that, give up multiple assets, multiple rotation players, you want to know where you stand in the summer. And so this is a complex situation.
All right, some comments there from Shams. Now, I think for the Kings to land, I think this is a big free agent summer that I don't think has really been being reported that much. How many people are going to become available? The Kings don't have a lot of money going into this summer. So I don't know that they can land a free agent. The way they have to do it is to get a player now. That's how they have to trade for Siakam and have some knowledge, have some hope that that's a player that they could re-sign. Or if they let him walk, I guess you freed up some money. But that's a risk. He's in the final year, $37 million. Barnes is starting year 1 of 3 at $17 million. So obviously a lot more would have to go in return. I'm sure there's some picks that would be out there. But what else? What else would move the needle? I know Keegan is the one that I'm sure Toronto wants. I don't think the Kings want to part with him. So that to me is kind of where the rub is in all of this. So keep our eyes and ears on it. That's kind of, when you make it known publicly, you're doing that for a reason, whether it's agents or front office guys. So there certainly is some intrigue. Whether or not this is the start of something or just much ado about nothing remains to be seen. All right, we will break. When we come back, more on the Kings, what to watch tonight in the NBA, and certainly we've got a national championship tonight. Michigan and Washington play for it all. That is coming up on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-817-7142. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-817-7142 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142. 800-817-7142.
The PGA Club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
There are many things to love about winter. Cozy sweaters, celebrations, and family time. But winter can also bring many stressors, extra expenses, seasonal bugs, and so much family time. If you and your loved ones are feeling stressed or anxious this winter, Cal Hope can help. Check out our free mental health resource at calhope.org today.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back, January 18th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Find the best selection of boats, side-by-sides, campers, and accessories, all at special prices. And get to your next adventure in style. See Toyota's all-new Tacoma. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of hundreds of thousands of customers every single day. Imagine what you could do if your business had that kind of reach. It's not a dream. Right now, you can take advantage of Amazon's expansive network to benefit your business. Unlock expert insights and tap into the full potential of Amazon. Simply text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105. Put the power of Amazon to work for you. Text DIGITAL, that's DIGITAL, to 916-766-5105.
5 dealerships, 1 location. The Knight Group is now in Elk Grove with Elk Grove Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Elk Grove Subaru, Acura, Audi, and Volkswagen. If you're searching to service or shop for a new vehicle, Knight has it. Trucks, SUVs, sports cars, hybrids, EVs, you name it, Knight has it. Over 2,000 new and used vehicles to choose from, and the Knight Group makes it easy with expert financing, quick service, and a simple 2-step process to value your trade-in. So start and end your search at KnightHasIt.com. That's KnightHasIt.com.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
To watch tonight, what to do, what to get out of that Kings malaise from yesterday. Anybody go back and rewatch that game? You know, the games re-air sometimes when they have great games. I know that when the Keegan went for 47, I'm like, I came back home and right away I was like, this is the part. It's third quarter. He's going to go absolutely crazy. It was perfect timing, and rewatched it and enjoyed it. No, thank you. Do not want to see any part of that game again yesterday. I'm trying to even think of we had our winner earlier of our Jiffy Lube drive of the game, but a highlight. Like usually you go to the game and there's something great. Like there's still a really cool dunk or I don't remember. It's all in a fog. Awful day for the Sacramento Kings. So tonight, what do you watch? As far as NBA goes, Celtics and Pacers will be a fun watch. The high-octane offense of the Pacers, Boston, the best team in the league. Check that one out. The Suns at the Clippers. Watched both of those teams play yesterday. Suns lost a bad one at home to the Grizz. Grizz didn't have Ja Morant in that game. And the Clippers cooled off by the Lakers. Let's do a little standings check. From bottom to top in the Western Conference, Spurs dead last. They've lost 5 in a row. They're 5-30. Blazers won a nice overtime game yesterday. They're 14th, 10-25. Then it's Memphis. Memphis won their first 4, then lost a couple. They won their last 2, but they just got such a long way to go, 13-23. Jazz are in that weird spot where they're not awful. They're also not good enough at 17-20. And then the Golden State Warriors, we brought them up earlier. Chris, did you find out anything else from that? Was that Draymond's first podcast since all that news broke?
His first podcast since last July.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What's he been doing?
Mm-hmm.
Living?
Life happens.
Life comes at you fast. Now, apparently there's a quote coming from there that, I'd love to hear context, but that Draymond said all this was too much for him, and Adam Silver talked him out of retirement.
Yeah, but
not buying it.
I think it's one of those things like maybe I'll just leave.
Yeah, like he'll discuss.
Oh, come on, you don't want to do that.
I'm gonna retire at some point. Let me just do this now, and it's as simple as that.
It feels like that's what it was.
It feels like it's a good quote, deep quote. You want a deep quote?
It's very.
Look at me.
It's very. I am sorry. And you guys should be happy with how sorry I am.
Yeah. So that's apparently coming out of his latest podcast. But the Warriors are 17-19. He's going to be coming back. Chris Paul is going to be out. He's going to have surgery with that fractured hand. Steph Curry had another game where he did not make a 3. So there they are at 11th. The Lakers not much better.
Washed.
18-19. They're 10th. Phoenix, a team that a lot of people thought could win this whole thing, and I guess still could. But I don't see it at 19-17. 8th is Houston. They keep hanging around 500 at 18-16. Then it's really the separation, 7-1. Pelicans at 22-15. Technically, Dallas is 22-15, so that's 7-6. The Kings percentage points better at 21-14, but that's very fragile. A bad day or two, and the Kings are, at 7th place. But they're right on the heels of the Clippers and right on the heels of them, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then you get the Nuggets a half game out and the T-Wolves in the top spot. I do think Denver is the best team in the West. I know not everybody feels that, but I do, and it's not groundbreaking statement, at least the top 5. I love their starting 5. Bench is thin, and the stats support it. There's no player in the league, plus minus, that's better when he's on the floor than Nikola Jokic, and negative when he's off the floor. So obvious statement there. If he were to miss some time, Denver would derail, but I'm going to assume he's going to stay healthy. He's a pretty durable player, and Denver looking good at 26-12. So what to watch tonight, that, and certainly the national championship game. Washington, Michigan for the title. I said it before, I'll say it again. I think the best team in college football is Georgia. They're not there. So Michigan, I think, will win. I think we'll find out soon that Jim Harbaugh will take a head coaching job in the NFL. And sadly, for me, that's it for the Pac-12 as we know it, which I don't remember the Pac-8. I certainly remember the Pac-10. There'll technically be 2 teams left, but
two-pack.
The two-pack, you sure? Yeah, it's just going to be a different college football experience next year, for better or for worse. Not sure which one, but it'll be different. But yeah, check out tonight's national championship game between Michigan and Washington. All right, we'll come back. Crosstalk, Styles and Watkins will be in, and we'll take a run at our celebrity birthdays today, brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies. We wrap up the show. That is straight ahead.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Yeah, that trailer hitch and folding bed cover from TruckSmart makes road trips a breeze.
Right? I'm so much more organized on the job site since TruckSmart installed my truck rack and toolbox.
And they had it all in stock, so I just waited as they installed everything.
Take a look at this sweet Rhino truck lining. They sprayed it on.
Yeah, you win. That is sweet.
Truck Smart, truck and SUV accessories for on the road and the job site. Stop by one of our 2 locations in Rockland or Auburn. Trucksmart.com. Your truck's gonna love them.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today because Lowe's knows home improvement. TimberCreekGolf.com for details.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than freshly baked and home-delivered crumble cookies.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things.
And now,
here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
We can do this for 16 minutes. How are you guys?
Great. Never better. Always love the energy when Dave's not here.
Oh, that's fired.
I
did not want the Kings to win the championship.
What's coming up on the show?
Yeah, we have press conference gate.
Yeah.
Okay, press conference gate will lead us to where we need to go. A lot of blowout talk, and I'm not talking about my baby's diaper. Okay, we're talking about the Kings and Emil Fergoso at 11 to talk Niners and playoff scenarios.
You went to a game, Alan, not long ago as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
If you were there last night as a fan, and I'm a big proponent, like you bought the ticket, stay for the game.
Yeah.
That would have really been tested yesterday.
I saw people leaving halfway through the third.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Acceptable.
Being down 50 is disrespectful. At home, that's crazy. You saw I posted a video. I know it would never happen, but give them 50% back. Yeah. Like if you lose by more than 30, you should get something. Yeah. That means you didn't show up. Because they have like buyback plans for jerseys where it's like if Harrison Barnes gets traded, bring your Harrison Barnes jersey in, and then we can, give you a brand new fresh Kings jersey. If the Kings lose by 35 plus, you should get something.
Yeah,
Stockton Kings tickets,
that's awful.
give me something. That means you didn't show up. And I think when we look, they have it's not more than 3. So really you would have, which it's not a lot, but it is also a lot. You would have had to, whatever in this universe, halfback or whatever, you would have had to do it either 2 or 3 times. Yeah. Which out of a 82-game season, maybe it's like, hey, Vivek or whoever, it's like, guys, I don't want to keep doing this. It's not that hard to not lose by 30 plus.
You know what's interesting, and I don't even know the answer. I'm just going to ask this off the top while you're saying it. It made me think of this. If a team were to do that, right, and last night easily, maybe you give all the money back.
Right.
But do you think they could get away with, like, if they went all in on that and then also said, like, look, we'll leave a tip jar. Like, when we have, like, a game that's really entertaining.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's like
double overtime
and you got
game.
people that have consumed a little bit. Oh, I'll drop a 20. And by the end of the year, I wonder if that was
almost
a net
like a
win.
church collection.
Yeah.
Hey.
You paid for your ticket, but, like, this was really entertaining tonight.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Kings Raptors, thank you. Here's an extra $10 as I walk out.
I don't think so, because that's what they call getting your money's worth. Because they're expensive to begin with, right?
Yeah.
It's the opposite. It's when you don't get a discount when they don't play well. So maybe even, hey, if they lose by, you don't want to give money back for the tickets, 50% off if you guys, when you leave early, go to the team store.
I don't want that jersey.
Hey, it's just something, because it's just, they obviously tried, but I use the example of the restaurant. If you go to a 5-star restaurant, you go to a Michelin-star restaurant, they mess up your order. Sports in general, just not even the Kings, is the only product that you purchase and you have no clue if you're going to get, quote-unquote, your money's worth.
All the risk.
So it's almost, it's a gamble in itself just to go to a game. But on top of that, you're at least feeling like you're paying for a professional product.
Yeah.
I could make the argument that wasn't a professional product. I don't know what the minutes were, but De'Aaron 3 points. They stopped playing because the game was over. I didn't give it. You should charge us league prices, because we saw the G League team for more than the actual team.
Yeah,
I would like to see them have like a
to your first point, though, like a 35 points or more, because I would love to see at the end of the game them like
Fans are rooting
oh
for
my
that.
gosh, come on, like lose by 36. Oh, it's 36. Oh, Kobe Jones made it a 34-point game.
But the kicker would be you got to stay.
Yeah, you have to stay.
You got to stay.
Yeah.
You have to stay. You can't leave early and cash in.
Yeah, to your
You gotta
point,
stay through the struggle.
On the risk of that, I literally walking from the elevator, like the press elevator we take to my seat. I ran into a guy yesterday. He was like, "Hey," and he was wearing a Zion jersey. "Do you know if Zion's playing tonight?" And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, he's not." And it was like I gave him the worst news of all time. But I'm sure he sounded like he bought the ticket to see Zion, and then now his team won. But he sounds like he was a Zion fan.
Did you see that kid who came from Australia to watch LaMelo Ball play in Sacramento? And LaMelo Ball's been out for a while.
They probably already had him purchased, though. That's my thought. Because you saw I don't know if they were either from Korea or I can't remember where they're from, but they had it first. We flew all these miles to see the Warriors, and the Warriors got their doors blown off too. And the Warriors Twitter before the game tweeted them, and they just got destroyed. Like, give them their money back.
Oh, the risks we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I know you guys will talk about that. Again, we've said this for a while now. You could lose to New Orleans. It's just the amount of times they've lost to them and how badly and no chance to win. And I was saying, like, was there a highlight? I actually had my head down. I'm looking at all these notes, trying to find, like, worst losses. And then all of a sudden I heard this big scream, and I look up. It was when the Kings made it to 100.
Oh,
people went nuts. I'm like, they lost by 33, and it was worse than that.
Don't they get something in the arena, though, when you get to 100?
I think you get personalized pizza or something.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I think so. Crumble cookies yesterday.
Crumble,
None.
Yeah, nothing.
None.
Everybody's been missing the first one. They always make the second
Right.
one.
CJ McCollum should have drafted me. I actually didn't know that tidbit.
He can't hang on to that
That's
still,
what I'm
though.
saying.
That's
It's
too
like, how long?
Like, he had a great game, but there's been, I was saying, like, I think it was last year he came in here, it was really bad a couple of times. And it's like, oh, but now and he went off. He was great. Oh, it's because they didn't draft. Like, okay. It was 10 years ago.
Clay did the same thing when he had that ridiculous quarter. He was like, "Oh yeah, I've always had something for this franchise."
Okay, how about the night you scored 9?
Yeah,
maybe it's not just a Kings
also,
thing.
there's a lot of teams that passed on.
Yeah,
maybe there are a lot of post games to where guys do that, but we only pay attention to the Kings.
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
So many stories.
Well, let's cleanse our palate with some crumble cookies. Yes, birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than our friends at Crumble Cookies. This is an odd day today. I mean, there's good names, but it's kind of dark, and you'll know why. We're going to do some people that would have celebrated their birthday today. They're no longer with us. But we have others that are still with us. But it would have been Elvis Presley. Wow. Any ideas, guys? Way before all our time. That,
like Chris Ballard said.
At the bar.
How would I know?
No, the movie,
These
right?
are worldly.
Yeah. What's your guess on what Elvis would be?
He would be, I'm going to say 87.
Yeah, I'll say 94.
92.
Not bad, guys. 89. Elvis Presley. How old would another musician, David Bowie?
My goodness.
He would have been 73.
75.
Chris can really screw us with these initial ones,
yeah.
because let me tell you, 79.
You guys tied 77.
Yeah, big Bowie.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, how old would have Dwight Clark?
Jeez.
I know. It's like I was looking, I go, all these guys, it is a pretty good group of people.
Right.
Dwight Clark, former 49er. The catch. Gone too soon.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking Dick Clark too.
So was I.
It was like a few years.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how old Joe Montana.
Right.
Let's say good old Dwight would have been, say, 72.
Yeah, I'm going to say
68.
67. All right. Okay. All right. So let's. No. All right. We're going here. Happy birthday to R. Kelly.
Oh my goodness. I told you. Somehow this is the worst.
Wait, did Nate get a hold of your birthday today?
I got one more for you after this one,
gosh.
and then we'll get a little bit.
Robert's got to be like 50.
Is that what the R is for Robert?
Yeah.
Robert?
4 or 50.
I'll say 55.
56.
57.
Wow.
Okay. Just because we're in this kind of mood, Kim Jong-un.
My God. Is this the listed?
I don't know what's
age, or
happened
is
today,
this-
but
okay.
January 8th.
Well, he's
Yes.
21.
Kim Jong-un, I'm going to say, is a big. He is 42.
46.
Yeah, 48. Loves Dennis Rodman.
We have an exact answer, and it's Christopher Lott, 42.
Oh, well,
All right, now let's go.
Probably
Happy
shouldn't clap.
birthday to current Sacramento King and star of the podium, Leon Ellis.
Poor
Funny
guy.
because I saw the happy birthday and I was going to say something else, but I had already roasted. So I said, congrats. Take this one for us. Happy birthday. He's got to get that two-way, right? Can we just...
No, he's got to get more than that at
Right,
this point.
come
He's
on
gotta get
now.
the max contract, something.
Come on now. I'm going to go Keon. I feel like 24 feels right, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'll say 24 as well.
I'll say 25.
All right, 2 24s and a 25. We have an exact answer, and it is 24.
Yes.
Good job, guys. Happy birthday to former King as well, Glenn Robinson III.
Wow. I don't know if he
Little dog.
technically. I don't know if he made the regular season.
Yeah, he was on the regular season.
Didn't last. GR3 is let's say 29 years old.
Feels right. 30.
I'll say 31.
We have an exact answer. It is 30.
I think it's because I whispered 30.
I know when you said it, wait, that's the whisper, but that's actually the correct answer. As we go, Jason Giambi. How old is Jason Giambi?
Shout out Jason.
55.
52.
We have an exact answer. Wow, it's on fire. Take that with you into the show.
Yeah.
Styles and Watkins is next.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM